so worried about the Broncos since Elway retired. And poor Oakland has had so many penalties. And did you hear what Boomer said last week about the stress factor at Mile High Stadium? It boggles the mind. And have you considered...
Are you ready for some football?
In 1997 and 1998, the Denver Broncos were the kings of the NFL. Back-to-back Super Bowl titles made this franchise a dynasty in progress.
Toss left, Davis cuts back, big hole, Terrell Davis. Here we go! He's gone! Davis! Touchdown, Denver!
Pro Bowl performers dotted the roster, and the man at the helm was the embodiment of the modern-day head coach. Mike Shanahan had reached the pinnacle twice in a row.
It's a dream come true. I mean, to finally reach that plateau, that was very special to me and my family.
This season, though, the Broncos have come crashing back to earth. John Elway has retired, and other Broncos stars have been lost to injury, but Shanahan refuses to let the ship sink.
We got a lot of pride. We got a lot of character on this football team. You get a chance to see what you're made of when the times are a little tough.
Tonight, you'll see a measure of that resolve in a Rocky Mountain showdown between the Denver Broncos and their arch rival, the Oakland Raiders. Intensity and animosity guaranteed on ABC's Monday Night Football. Wide open, Tim Brown, touchdown.
Well, it's time to blast off and get underway. The NFL's best are ready to play. The Raiders will be looking for Rocky Mountain loot. The Broncos are packing a mile-high salute. You better be ready, strap in and hold tight. Someone walks the plank in Denver tonight. Hit it! Come on and hit it! Come on and get ready! Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party! Yeah, it's a Super Bowl season! 30 years and still rocking! Al and Boomer are set, crowd is psyched. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. That's right.
On the 22nd of November, you could get any kind of weather in Denver. This is what we have. Already today, 9 inches of snow. More expected. It's 26 degrees, but Mile High, as usual, sold out. The Broncos against the Raiders. Al Michaels with Boomer Esiason and Lesley Visser. A vital and a critical game for the Raiders tonight. They're 5-4. They're coming off their best performance of the season. 28-9. They dominated San Diego last week. And it's a vital game because in the AFC right now, 5 teams are 8-2. So it stands to reason at least 10 wins are needed to even have a mathematical chance to get into the playoffs. They come in tonight with a daunting task facing the Broncos, who won't win a 3rd Super Bowl unless a miracle of miracles transpires. They're 3-7, but they've been in almost every game. 4 of their losses by a total of 10 points. And they go to Chris Miller, their number 3 quarterback tonight, to try to beat the Raiders at Mile High Stadium. Oakland and Denver coming up on Monday Night Football.
Spanish commentary for tonight's game can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV set where available. Brought to you by National Car Rental.
Over 70,000 in this old erector set of a stadium. A great rivalry, Boomer. It's the Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos have had the Raiders number now for several years. In fact, the Raiders haven't beaten them here since they were the Los Angeles Raiders. Snowing tonight and all of the rest. How can the Raiders beat the Broncos?
Well, the first thing they have to do is have to run the football. Now, you come in this week at the 3rd best running team in the NFL. Now, with Tyrone Whitley in between the tackles, Napoleon Kaufman outside, it's a nice 1-2 attack. Also look for Rich Gannon to make some plays with his legs. You talked about how they had their best offensive output last week. A lot of that rests on the shoulders of Rich Gannon. When he's out there making plays with the running game that they have, they certainly can win this game tonight.
And they face their arch rival Broncos. John Elway retires. They start the season with Brian Greasy. He's in uniform tonight, but a bad shoulder. They hope he doesn't have to play. They go to Chris Miller, who spent 3 years out of football.
and he looks good. He had one of his best games ever last week, at one time completing 14 in a row against the Seattle Seahawks up in Seattle. But Mike Shanahan's done a great job. You know, they're missing 7 starters on this football team, and he's kept them in all their games. Very difficult place to win on the road here in Mile High. These fans are crazy. They get behind their defense. They're going to have to get out fast and early and try to combat the Raider defense.
A rivalry that goes all the way back to 1962, original AFL teams. Mike Shanahan coached the Raiders in the late 80s. Now, of course, he has won 2 Super Bowls back-to-back with the Broncos. He's down on the field with Lesley Visser. Hi, Lesley.
Boomer, it's a great scene down here. And, Mike, as you know, you lost your 9th player to a major injury, but you've battled in every game. What's important tonight?
Well, to see players play. You know, we've lost a few close games. We got to find a way to win, and hopefully we'll do that tonight.
Well, it'll be awfully tough for you to make the playoffs this year, but where would a win over Oakland rank?
Well, you know, just to find a way to win, I think is very important. At least we've had a little adversity, but if we can come back and find a way to win a game like this, it'd be very special.
We think it means more than that. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Lesley. Back deep, Napoleon Kaufman and Calvin Branch for the Raiders. And to kick off for the Denver Broncos, Jason Elam. Underway from Denver in a light snow right now, fielded at the 6-yard line by Kaufman. A flag is thrown, and Napoleon brings it all the way back up to the 43. So a good run back by Kaufman, but most of it will be negated on a holding call. Larry Nemmers is tonight's referee. Rich Gannon coming out, and instead of starting up near the 40, he'll be backed up. Gannon, part of the draft of '87, initially picked by New England, even spent a year out of football, '94, and now back as the #1 guy in Oakland. Wheatley and Ritchie in the backfield, Brown and Jett outside, and Dudley, who had 2 touchdown catches last week, the tight end. Collins, Wisniewski, Robbins, a rock in the middle, Sims and Kennedy up front. Gennaro DiNapoli normally plays right guard. Out tonight, he's hurt, so Sims takes over at that spot. The ball at the 13-yard line after the holding call, first down. And Gannon off the play fake throws and goes to the fullback, John Ritchie, who doesn't carry the ball very much, but they like to throw to him. George Coghill, taking the spot of the injured Eric Brown, makes the tackle. Defensively now for the Denver Broncos, the ex-Chief Smith with Traylor and Price having a great year. Tanavasa rounding out the line. Cadrez, the rookie. Al Wilson from Tennessee and the veteran Romanowski are the linebackers. Crockett and Dale Carter at the corners. Braxton and Coghill are the safeties. Second down and 2, ball at the 21-yard line. Gannon on a roll. He's a very mobile quarterback, and that pass is incomplete, thrown at the feet of James Jett. The ball perhaps a little wet, a little slick, and a bad throw makes it third down.
Now, interesting way the Raiders start this game. They come out with the play action pass, and they're trying to move Rich Gannon out of the pocket. They come in with one of the best running games, and you can see right now they're just trying to establish their passing game. Not a good throw by Rich Gannon. And remember that Rich Gannon is also playing with a broken left wrist. He has taken the cast off, but it is now wrapped very tightly, and you can see right there on his left wrist how he's protecting it.
Third down and 2 from the 21-yard line. They have Wheatley in the backfield. Tim Brown in motion, their leading receiver. Gannon goes the other way, and the pass is caught. Hauled in by Derek Walker, the second tight end, only his 4th catch of the season, coming at an opportune time, moving the chains on the Raiders' first series, first down.
John Gruden was telling us, I was asking him about Ricky Dudley, their stud tight end, who's 6'6", 255, the first-round draft pick out of Ohio State. He said, well, we're trying to work in Brigham and Walker a little bit more. Ricky Dudley can really control a football game if he wanted to. He's just got to get over the fact of being an NFL player and work himself into being a superstar.
John Gruden, the youngest coach in the league at age 36 in his second season. From the 26, they give the ball to Wheatley, and he goes nowhere. Tackled by Ray Crockett. The Broncos say it was a fumble, and they recovered, and there's no such signal.
It's because the ground caused it, and the officials saw it, and they made the correct call.
Despite the protestations of one Ray Crockett, it'll be second down. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, signaling in the next alignment.
Take a look at this here, and you can can see right there was the correct call, but Tyrone Wheatley would be better served to stay play side, to stop cutting back. That's where the trouble is on this defense. They can pursue, and they have been doing that very well the last few weeks.
2nd down and 11 from the 26-yard line. Gannon throws. That's caught by James Jett, and he is tackled up at the 33-yard line, about 3 yards shy of the first down. Dale Carter, the longtime Chief, now coming over here. Big offseason free agent acquisition, makes the hit.
Well, you talk about big offseason free agent acquisitions. Rich Gannon for the Raiders was brought here to run John Gruden's West Coast offense. The West Coast offense, quick drops, quick reads, get the ball to your athletes as quickly as possible. This is not the old Raiders. Throw it down the field and let's see what happens.
Very different look. Randy Jordan is in the backfield. 3rd down and 4. The deep drop. Gannon buys time. The line did a great job, and it gave him the time to hit Dudley over the middle, and a first down up at the 49 where he's stopped by Cadrez.
When you watch Rich Gannon and Chris Miller tonight, you will see quarterbacks who are seasoned, who don't panic when they're in the pocket, and that they have confidence in their guys downfield. Now watch Rich Gannon just standing in there, and you can see Ricky Dudley. Now this is what I'm talking about. He is a big man, and he should be able to push guys away, and you can see the slippery field and Romanowski falling down. That's why I always believe that an offense has the advantage in field conditions like this.
First down after a 16-yard pickup. Ball at the 49-yard line. Back to the ground they go. And this time it is Kaufman. And he's stopped after a gain of 1. Ray Crockett in on the hit. John Gruden was telling us last night what he wants to do is make Tyrone Wheatley an every down back. But for the moment, it's a little bit of thunder and lightning. Wheatley on a lot of short yardage stuff and first down stuff. And then when he wants to go to the outside, he goes, and there's Wheatley. He goes to Kaufman.
Remember, Tyrone Wheatley was a first-round pick of the New York Giants. And you got to be wondering what has happened in the last year since Tyrone Wheatley was traded to the Miami Dolphins and then subsequently released and came out here and now found his game all of a sudden.
On 2nd and 10, it's caught by Terry Mickens, who loses the football. And the Broncos come back the other way with Cadrez carrying it, and Gannon saves the touchdown by forcing him out of bounds.
You can see right there, he said, what happened?
What happened? Easy to lip read that. Mickens lost the football, and Cadrez brings it back the other way.
Watch the play by number 20, Torrey James, ripping the ball out. Defensive backs are taught to do that, and there are all kinds of tip drills that defenses run in practice, and Glenn Cadrez is right there pursuing to the ball carrier.
That was Crockett who forced it. Since he had both feet down and possession, it's a fumble and not an interception. Ball at the 20-yard line. 21 make it first down, and this is Chris Miller dumping it off to Olandis Gary, and he takes it to the 15-yard line. A lot of stories tonight which we'll develop as we go along. Certainly Miller is one, Gary is another. Chris Miller out of Oregon, spent 3 years out of football because of several concussions. Back he comes as a number 3 guy here, and now he's number 1, at least for the moment. Gary is in the backfield with Howard Griffith, the blocking back. Smith and McCaffrey outside. Carswell, the tight end. Shannon Sharp still hurt. Teague, Schlereth, nailing a Pro Bowler with Neal and Lepsis. A very light and mobile offensive line. None of those guys more than 300 pounds, and that's very rare these days. On 2nd and 4, they give it to Gary. And Gary, who played his college football at Georgia, as did Terrell Davis, is stopped by Anthony Newman. 3rd and short. The Raiders now defensively. 4-man line. And real tough in the middle. Harris and Johnstone outside. Maryland and Russell, a pair of rocks inside. Same sort of rookie out of Michigan. Beaker's an every down backer. Harvey, the other outside backer. Woodson, the Heisman Trophy winner, with the birthday boy Eric Allen. The corners, Newman and Eric Turner, are the safeties. Eric Allen, 34 years old today. 3rd and 1 with the ball at the 12-yard line. And they give it to Gary again, and Gary is able to slip a tackle in the backfield as Richard Harvey was there, stopped him for what should have been a loss as Terrell Davis looks on, hopeful that his team has picked up a first down with the second effort.
Now, I was going to say that Olandis Gary, if he looks familiar, he's built almost exactly like Terrell Davis, and the fact that they both played at Georgia. Let's take a look and see if his knee hits the ground right here. Ooh, very close.
Ooh.
But this is the type of things that Terrell Davis does as a running back. He's able to break tackles and make first downs, and Richard Harvey's got to make that tackle in the backfield. It's tough on defenders in this cold weather. They don't want to take on big backs. They don't want to take on backs and meet them in the hole quite as stoutly as they would if it were a little bit warmer out. Sting is there a little bit more, if you will.
I'll bet. 26 degrees, wind chill 17, at least for the moment, not snowing. But more expected tonight, another inch or two, they're saying. First down at the 11-yard line. Miller, great protection, but the secondary does its job, and then Miller takes off in the end zone, and he is down just shy of the goal line. Concussions be damned. The guy who had to leave the game because of concussions, forget the slide. He's diving for the end zone and just comes up short.
Talking to Chris Miller the other day, he was telling me how much fun he's having resurrecting his career, and certainly he wanted to make sure that he played for a team that played on grass for this particular reason right here. And look at the poise in the pocket. He sees it, he puts the ball down, and he goes for it. And I don't know, to me that looks like it's a touchdown.
Well, even if he didn't get the touchdown, I believe he got the first down, because it was first and 10 from the 10.5. Newman is there for the tackle. They're going to measure.
Looked like Newman got right there as soon as Chris Miller hit the ground. But for those people who have been around the NFL for the last few years, or actually for the last 10 years, you talk about Chris Miller, none of this is really surprising. Now, he has been a good, solid player, or was a good, solid player for a number of years.
Well, he was a #1 draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons. Played on several bad teams. So bad, in fact, the Falcons during those years only played on 2 Monday night games, and Chris was hurt for both of those. So in his 92nd NFL start, it's his first start on Monday Night Football. And it's first and goal from the 1-yard line. And they give it to the up back, and that is Howard Griffith, and he's in for the touchdown. Head linesman took a look, came in from the side. Howard Griffith in for the score. And the Broncos capitalize on the fumble as Howard Griffith picks up his second touchdown of the season and his first on the ground.
Now, when you talk about the offensive line of the Denver Broncos and how small they are, but what they do very well, they use their technique. They stay below down there of the defensive lineman, root them out, and allow the fullback to get in underneath them.
Elam for the point after. So give a big assist to Ray Crockett, who extracts the ball from Mickens. Denver cashes in, 7-0 Broncos. Enhanced TV is online right now. You can get live up-to-the-minute stats, play the live interactive game, and trivia. Go to ESPN.com or NFL.com and log on to Enhanced TV. DiNapoli, who would normally be starting at right guard, is injured. And they're also missing Matt Stinchcomb, the top draft pick, another offensive lineman on the shelf tonight. This is a short kick fielded at the 13 by Calvin Branch, and he draws a crowd up at the 20-yard line.
And now when you watch the Denver Broncos, you could see that they're flying tonight. It's a testament to the job that Mike Shanahan is doing.
And the Raiders are in town. They're always flying. Chilly night in Colorado, and action coming up Friday. College football, a doubleheader here on ABC. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Number 5 Texas against Texas A&M, and then from Boulder, just up the road, Nebraska, Colorado, doubleheader Friday, right here on ABC, the day after Thanksgiving. From the 22-yard line, they begin this drive with the Raiders with Wheatley taking it for a gain of 2, where he is tackled by Trevor Price, who's having a terrific season. Price in an interior defensive lineman with 7 sacks.
He really is. I was talking to Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. He was telling us that this is probably, there he is, one of the best players on his defense, and he says that his defense has played about as well as it's played last year. The problem is that they're just not getting the points that they were getting last year from their offense.
Second down and 8. Gannon is 5 of his first 6. Under pressure and taken down. The tackle is made by Ma'a Tanuvasa. So Maha gives him a little aloha just about the line of scrimmage. Gannon has distributed the ball tonight. His 5 passes have gone to 5 different receivers. John Gruden, who's the head coach and in effect might as well be the offensive coordinator because he calls the plays, and that's Gruden on the headset to Gannon.
Remember, he came from the Philadelphia Eagles where he was the offensive coordinator, and prior to that in Green Bay.
3rd down and 9. Oddly, the only Raider who hasn't caught one is their leading receiver, Tim Brown. Gannon under pressure again. Shows mobility, but the secondary does its job. Kadrez hits Gannon as he gets the pass away, and the pass is incomplete.
And you could see Gannon just going after number 89, Williams, right there. He wants him to come back when he sees that he's in trouble and you're the receiver and you see your quarterback coming to you. You have to come back to him to give him a chance to throw it to you to make a play. And Williams was just hanging on the sideline doing nothing.
Leo Araguz to punt. Not much of a win tonight. 23-yard line of scrimmage. Chris Watson, a rookie from Eastern Illinois, the alma mater of Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan, to run it back. High floating kick, not much distance, and fair caught at the 40-yard line by Watson. And that's where the Broncos will begin their next drive after a 38-yard boot. 6:36 left in the opening quarter in the Mile High City. 7-0 Denver. Alex Gibbs, the highly respected assistant head coach and offensive line coach.
Depending on who respects him.
Yes.
Certainly Darryl Russell, the defensive tackle for the Oakland Raiders, has taken issue with the way that the offensive line of the Broncos blocks and what they do interior-wise. And we'll be watching that tonight to see what's happening down there.
There were a couple of wars of words this week as Miller throws and it's caught. McCaffrey makes the catch up at the 43. Russell getting into it, contending that the Denver offensive line used illegal and dirty tactics. And then Tim Brown and Dale Carter had their own little tete-a-tete in the press.
Well, they've been going at it for years with Dale Carter playing in Kansas City. It seems like each of these teams cannibalize one another when it comes to free agency. The Raiders taking Darian Gordon away from the Broncos, their punt returner and defensive back. So Tim Brown knows Dale Carter very well, and Dale Carter's a very physical defensive back.
2nd and 6, that's McCaffrey in motion. And Miller goes to McCaffrey. Eddie makes the catch at the 49. A little stiff arm, and that nets the 1st down. He puts his hand into the face of Charles Woodson. It's almost as if he's giving the Heisman to a Heisman Trophy winner to pick up the 1st down.
Well, you talk about a big-time player. Ed McCaffrey's certainly developed into that over the years, and he's a tough guy too. And Mike Shanahan said he's a warrior. And you can take a look at this. This is just a little hitch pattern where he goes out and then he wants to make the yards after the catch, and he's not going to take any guff from anybody.
No, it says take this Heisman.
Absolutely.
At the 48-yard line, they give it to Gary, and Gary spins his way for a gain of 3. Olandis Gary actually started his college career. He was a kid who grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, went to high school in neighboring Maryland. Started his college career at Marshall in West Virginia, then transferred to Georgia. And you think about Georgia, the running back. I mean, you go back to Herschel Walker and then to Terrell Davis, Garrison Hurst, Robert Edwards, Olandis Gary.
And when I watched this game, Al, these first few plays, Olandis Gary on 3rd and 1, breaking a tackle of Richard Harvey and making a 1st down, ultimately leading to a touchdown. Then the straight arm by McCaffrey. You could see that the Denver Broncos are just more intense right now than the Raiders are.
Miller throws and finds the open man. It's Smith at the 31-yard line and a 1st down. He got inside Eric Allen. They'll move the chains, and we go to Lesley Visser. Les?
Al, mostly when we've seen this guy, it's in a Chunky Soup commercial, but Terrell Davis is back at Mile High for the first time. First of all, Terrell, how is your rehab going, and are we going to see the old Terrell Davis?
You will see the old Terrell Davis, and the rehab is going great. I think I'm probably 2 weeks ahead of where I need to be, and so that's fine. I think I'll probably start running another 3 to 4 weeks, so but it feels great.
Has this been hard on you emotionally?
It's my first time coming back today, so sitting on the sideline has been tough. And, you know, I've never been in this stadium without playing, so it's kind of tough.
Talk a little bit about Olandis Gary. He's doing a great job in relief.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. And he comes to me, and we talk about it a lot, and he's such a kid that he has all the natural abilities to play this game, and you don't really have to tell him too much. He's a natural at it. He went to Georgia.
That's right.
He went to Georgia, so he's just a natural running back, but he's doing well.
Well, we miss you. Be well. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Lesley. And while you were talking to Terrell, I'm sure Terrell would have loved that Dan Neal block, which sprung Gary for a first down. Gary has carried 4 times for 22 yards and has caught a pass for 6, and they give it to him going to the left side this time. And Gary picking and threading his way and stutter stepping his way to the 14, breaking a Newman tackle. And again, the classic workhorse is Gary, Olandis Gary, who was inactive for the first 4 games. There it is, over the first 6 games of his career, Boomer. He's carried the ball more than any other man in the history of the league.
And Mike Shanahan told us yesterday, if there is a silver lining when it comes to injuries, is that you get the chance to look at some young players. And right now they're showcasing Olandis Gary. He's showing that he's a big-time player. He really thinks that he can develop into something superb of a running back.
2nd down and 5 from the 14-yard line. Gary again. Flag comes in. Look at a guy like Gary, and you wonder, why, if you're the Denver Broncos, as a holding call will bring this back, why do you use a 4th-round pick running back when you have the best running back in football in Davis, and then you have Derek Lavelle? But it's like buying insurance.
Yep, it is buying insurance, but most NFL team personnel guys will tell you that they're going to take the best athlete available on the board. And it might not be able to fill a need, but certainly right now it is filling a need.
Holding call pushes him back. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford Tough. Budweiser, the beer with a fresh, clean taste that's never filling. CNET, the source for computers and technology at CNET.com. And Walt Disney Pictures and Pixar's Toy Story 2. The toys are back in town and only in theaters. It is 2nd and 15 from the 24-yard line. The fake to Gary. The pass is caught at the 15-yard line by Easy Ed McCaffrey. It'll be 3rd down and roughly 6.
There's Shannon Sharp, the Pro Bowl tight end for the Denver Broncos. Questions are, will he be here next year? The way the salary cap works in the NFL, he might be a salary cap casualty for the Denver Broncos. And seeing how Byron Chamberlain and Dwayne Carswell and Desmond Clark are playing right now, again, it gives an opportunity for Mike Shanahan to evaluate his younger players at that tight end position.
3rd down and 6, and Denver's going to take a timeout before the play with 1:53
That's their first team timeout.
First quarter at Mile High Stadium. Denver 7, Oakland nothing. Don't forget, beginning on Saturday, a Thanksgiving tradition, the Skins game, and Sergio Garcia is going to be in the Skins game this year, along with Fred Couples, Mark O'Meara, and David Duval. Look forward to that one, 4:30 Eastern on Saturday. After a timeout, 3rd down and 7 for the Broncos from the 15-yard line. Toss back to Gary, and Gary takes it to the 11, so they're 3 yards shy of the first. Tackled there by Mencian. Jason Elam will come in to attempt the field goal.
People will say, why would you run the ball in that situation as opposed to throwing it? Well, you look at tendencies of opposing defenses all week when you're studying the films, and the Raiders have a tendency to play a lot of man coverage down here in blitz. So you try to get outside and run against the blitz, but that time the Raiders broke a tendency and they did not blitz. So the proper defense against the running play.
This a 30-yard field goal attempt by Elam. Tom Ruin puts it down. And Jason, who last year was the guy who kicked that 63-yarder to Ty Dempsey's mark, sends this one through. 1:13 left in the opening period. It's now 10-0 Broncos. How's life for that man, John Elway? He's in the stadium tonight. We will talk to him at halftime. We'll talk with John live and find out what's going on in his life. The last time we saw him, last time he was at Mile High, opening night when they retired his number, the Monday night opener against Miami. Elam's kick taken in the end zone and down there by Kaufman. Well, the snow rimming the field, 9 inches of snow in Denver. Let's go back to October 15th, 1984 on a Monday night.
Gary Ellis, single setback. Dickey handoff right side. There's a bobble. It's Jackson. All right. Tom
Jackson jars the ball loose. It's picked up by Steve Foley. Foley's in the end zone, very first play.
Now, wasn't that the night that Lynn Dickey lit this place up, though?
You know, that was the night. Well, the final score was 17-14 Denver. I remember the scoring came early and not particularly often. At the 20-yard line, Gannon gives it to Wheatley, who picks up just one to the 21. Dickey did have a big night. My man Steve Hurt tells me 371 yards.
I remember that. I remember
that
watching that game. It was my rookie year in the NFL, saying, this is what I'm going to have to play in some of these years. Actually, looking at Tyrone Wheatley, John Gruden was telling us one of the reasons that Tyrone Wheatley has fit in so nicely was because of the off-season conditioning program that he had to go through for the Miami Dolphins. He credits Jimmy Johnson for getting Tyrone Wheatley in great shape.
Second down and 9, and they have Zach Crockett in the game. At tailback, the fake to him. Gannon throws and overthrows Jett, who got behind Carter. Coverage coming on the other side as well from Coghill. Incomplete with 22 ticks left in the period.
Well, Dale Carter was a guy who early in the season was hearing the boos from the Denver crowd. He was the big free agent signing in the offseason. Gave him an awful lot of money, but really has solidified this particular coverage. You have to remember, in Kansas City, they played a lot of man coverage. Here, zone is interwoven into that, and he had trouble adjusting to that. He's a man coverage type of player.
Third down and 9. He's played offense from time to time in his career, and Charles Woodson, the Raider cornerback, has played offense, but not so far tonight. That's caught by No, it's not caught. Randy Jordan went down, couldn't hold on. Glenn Quadrez with the coverage, and Oakland is 3 and out.
And that offensive line of the Oakland Raiders early on in this game gave Rich Gannon plenty of time. The last few times that Rich has dropped back now, the defensive pressure has gotten to his face and is forcing him to underthrow balls like this.
Gannon coming off a terrific performance last week against San Diego as Araguz gets set to punt. Chris Watson, I mentioned he went to Mike Shanahan's school. Eastern Illinois had no idea that Shanahan had gone there until he was drafted and came here.
Shank.
And a bad punt. And the Broncos will take it in Raider territory. Whew. Well, the Raiders, as they march it off, it's going to be at the 40-yard line. The Raiders and the Broncos have been doing battle since 1962, original AFL teams. That was a 19-yard boot. And there they are, the matchups most prevalent on Monday night through the history of this series. Cowboys, Redskins 10 times. Bills, Dolphins. We had one of those earlier this year 10 times. And tonight's the 10th Bronco-Raider game. And in the 9 previous games, Broncos have won 4. Raiders have won 4 and 1 tie.
The Raiders haven't done well the last the last 9 games was Shanahan's 8-1 versus the Raiders.
That's correct. Since Mike took over here in 1995, 8 wins, 1 loss, including a win earlier this season, 16-13 at Oakland. From the 40-yard line, Miller's going to put it up, throws, and falling down wide open. Rod Smith at the 25. Nobody was there, but he slipped on the turf, and Lance Johnstone plants Miller.
Now, when you play on a field like this, it's so important for you to stay over your feet. And it's vitally important for the receivers to make sure that they're able to stand up like this. And you can see the quarterback has got some problems back there delivering the football. He's got a guy right in his face. It's the receiver's responsibility to be able to make that adjustment and come back and catch that football. Well, maybe not that one, but maybe a little bit closer next time.
Miller's first incompletion. He is 5 of 6 in a second down and 10 from the 40-yard line to the ground to Gary, and he goes nowhere. Knocked down by Chuck Osborne at the line of scrimmage as the quarter expires. We played 1 in Denver, with Denver leading Oakland 10-0. And Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Telltale sign in tonight's game as you look at the offensive production is that the takeaway by Denver, where Crockett was able to get the ball from Mickens, set Denver up, and here as we begin the second quarter, 3rd down and 10, and action before the snap. Greg Beaker did come across.
The question is whether or not he was pulled across, and I think he was. Normally they would only stop it if he would have touched somebody, but it didn't look like he did. So in order for them to stop it, that would have to call it on the offense.
False start on the quarterback, number 12, who anticipated the snap. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, these are the little tricks of the trade, Al, that you try to do when you're a veteran quarterback, because you know that those defensive linemen and linebackers are kind of looking at your legs. They're looking at your hands. They're trying to get any jump that they can. And certainly Chris Miller's been around long enough knowing that, and every now and then you can get away with one. But those officials are also looking for that now, because this is one of those things, one of those rules that the defenders have been complaining about for years.
Right, changed it a couple of years ago. Officials clearly more conscious of it. 3rd and 15. They have to get to the 30 for a first down, and that's where do they get there? A flag comes in. Billy Miller makes the catch, holds on to it. The official is going to...
He's going to say that he was out of bounds and then came back in and illegally touched the ball, is what he's going to say.
They spotted a little shy of the first anyway. Shanahan looking up. Now he's going to check the replay.
And there it is. Really what happens, Miller gets pushed out of bounds, ridden out of bounds by the underneath coverage, and then comes back in on behind it. And the official makes it the perfect call.
Oakland has the option here, and good numbers call first.
Illegal touching on the offensive team. Number 82, who went out of bounds and was the first to touch the pass when it came back. The penalty is declined. It'll be 4th down.
Take a look at this. He's right up here, and watch how he gets ridden out of bounds and then comes back in inside. And you can see right there where he's out of bounds and then comes back in and catches the football. You can't do that.
Yeah, and in fact, you can decline it because even though he caught it, it wasn't a catch to begin with.
Right, and Charles Mincy did the right thing. When you're an underneath cover guy like that, you have to push him out to the sideline. Don't give him a free release.
Tom Ruin floats one, and that's the perfect place to float one when you can pin him inside the 20. Fair caught by Gordon at the 14. Denver has it. Barely into the second quarter. In Denver, Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, and Lesley Visser. The Raiders have begun their average drive to start at the 17. Meanwhile, Denver's had much better field position, obviously. And again, Oakland begins deep in its own territory at the 14-yard line. Gannon, a short drop, and that's a low throw at the feet of Kaufman. 2nd down. Let's go down to Lesley Visser. Les?
Al, just a note on Shannon Sharp, who broke his left clavicle in the first game against Oakland. He told me before the game he'd like to start practicing after the bye week. That's next week. And he would like to play against Jacksonville, his first game. That's on Monday night. Al?
That's in 3 weeks. The Broncos will play before they take on Jacksonville. They will take on Kansas City here after the bye week. And then to Alltel Stadium. This is Wheatley up to the 21-yard line. He turns the corner about 3 yards shy of the first. 3rd down upcoming.
No, interesting thing on that last play out, I was watching Ricky Dudley, their tight end, number 83. And these are the things that he has to really work on, is blocking at the point of attack, especially when he's in movement. They brought him in motion, and they brought him around the corner to lead Tyrone Wheatley, and he got caught up with the defensive back. And this is the type of thing, you watch him here at the bottom of your screen, going off the screen right there. There's no, he shouldn't be there. He should be up inside looking for a linebacker. He's got to find the spot and make the play.
3rd and a short 4. Gannon is 5 for 10, and he's missed his last 4. They're going to send Kaufman to the right side, and nothing happened because they penetrated, did the Broncos defensively, to almost knock him down in the backfield, and he had no chance.
Not only did they penetrate, but they pursue and they run, and you could see 9 guys in the frame making the tackle on Napoleon Kaufman. Greg Robinson has done a wonderful job of keeping this defense together. And watch this. Here's the penetration, forcing Kaufman outside. And here come all the Broncos. Look at this. This is the way you play defense. You hustle and you make the play.
Aragouz to punt. Chris Watson to return it. High floating kick. 33-yard boot. Fair caught by Watson at the 48-yard line. Neil Smith pretty happy about the way things are going so far. Why not? His team leads 10-0 with 13:03 remaining in the first half. There is even though we didn't see a flag, there's a little conference on the field. Now they're letting us go. All right, strike up that band one more time. All right. Well, there's a greeting from the Aloha State, and why not? The Broncos have the only 2 Rainbow Warriors. The 2 University of Hawaii guys in the league are Jason Elam and Ma'a Tanuvasa.
Jason Elam.
Yep. And Pat Bowen spent a lot of time in Hawaii.
And you spent a lot of time in Hawaii,
spent a lot of time, and we will be spending a lot of time there at the Pro Bowl as well. On first down, this is Olandis Gary for a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9. This is our 30th year of Monday Night Football. Who are the best ever to play on Monday night? Well, you can vote online at ESPN.com or NFL.com, and then the all-time team will be announced Super Bowl Sunday, January 30th, right here on ABC.
Here's Derek LaVille right there facing the camera, and Terrell Davis to his back. And I think that if Terrell Davis lasts a few more years, we might get him on the All-Monday Night team. What do you think?
I think the way he has started his career, he'll be on the All-Monday Night team, the All-Sunday team, the All-Thursday team, and in Canton. 2nd down and 8. Little throws. It's McCaffrey. McCaffrey with a stiff arm again. A first down. He was covered by Eric Allen, and he says, there's a little birthday greeting for you. I'll give you the Heisman as well. And off he goes.
And watching Ed McCaffrey reminds me so much now of Chris Carter, and the way when he catches the football, he is just determined to make a play. And to see a wide receiver carry that type of personality is really something special. And it probably all started mainly with Jerry Rice. The San Francisco 49ers, so much was made about running after the catch, the yards after the catch. And Ed McCaffrey's become one of the better receivers in the league in doing that.
And a big play guy at the 33-yard line. And down goes Miller in the grasp, well, almost good enough grasp of Russell Maryland.
We'll take a look at Russell Maryland's arm.
Yeah, right.
If you got hit by that arm, Al, you might not get up for about a week.
That's a euphemistic grasp. Served the purpose. Number 1 pick in the draft by Dallas.
When you see a 300-pounder coming around the corner that quickly, look at this. You wonder why I retired, Al?
Well, that's Maryland's first full sack of the year.
And he's 300 pounds coming around a stunt like that, unblocked.
And on 2nd down and long, Denver is forced to use its 2nd timeout. Timeout Broncos. They lead by 10. Well, he started the season as their number 1 quarterback, Brian Greasy, Bob's son, but now with a shoulder injury. He's in uniform, can play, but Boomer, they hope to keep him out at least a week or 2.
He's the long-term future for the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan loves this kid and certainly thinks that he can get him back to a championship with him at quarterback.
2nd down and 19 after the penalty, and that is after the sack, and that was knocked down by Grady Jackson.
They love Grady Jackson, and one thing that I will tell you, in watching the Raider defense now, the last few series, looks like they've really picked it up. Raider offense has got to catch up a little bit here and start moving the football and getting these guys off the field. You can only stay on the field so long here in Denver with the altitude the way it is. You can see the way John Gruden is. He is just in-your-face type of guy, and I just love his spirit.
I do too. You know, he makes for great television because you look at him and that's the ultimate game face. And he looks so intense and almost like a mad professor, but he's a very engaging guy with a very open face, and he loves to laugh and loves to smile. But you never know it just by watching him on the sidelines. And on 3rd and 19, he could smile over that because Rod Smith dropped it, 4th down.
And again, the defense comes up with a huge stop right here. You can see Rod Smith looked to me like he turned his head before he actually put the ball away. And you look at those two receivers, Smith and McCaffrey, coming off the field. A great tandem out here in Denver. You had to look that football in. Rod knows that. I don't have to tell him.
So 4th and long, and they're forced to punt. Larry Gordon, 2nd all-time in punt return average. And he won't have a chance here, and a great Denver bounce. As it doesn't go in, there are flags down, 2 in fact. For the moment, it is down to the 7-yard line.
This will be interesting. I don't know if Darian Gordon signaled for a fair catch or not. If he did and he blocked, it could be a personal foul.
And it is a personal foul against the Raiders. So they'll begin even deeper in their own territory.
Okay, Larry, come on now. You can give it to us.
We have a personal foul on the receiving team, number 23, who signaled for a fair catch and then blocked. That foul is from the enforcement is from the spot of the foul, half the distance to the goal. 1st down, Oakland.
If there's a player in this league that knows better not to do this, it's Darian Gordon, one of the better punt returners. Watch this right here. You could not do this. Be smarter than that.
That's pretty ugly. Bad starting field position. 3 times 3 and out. A fumble and 3 punts as Oakland takes over for the 5th time, and they give it to Wheatley, and he escapes a tackle in the backfield, and then Crockett and Carter knock him down as he gets to the 7-yard line. So here are the Broncos through 10 games, leading 10-0, Boomer. A mark of 3-7, as we said, though, at the top. They've been in almost every game. And when you look at this team, and Pat Bowlen feels the same way, the owner of the team, he's very sanguine. He's very optimistic about the future.
Well, he should be. He's getting a look at a lot of young players who are playing well. And Mike Shanahan, and you can talk about the Super Bowls and how great the coaching job he did the last 2 years, and some would look at me and say I'm crazy. But he's done a great job with the team that he has, and he's keeping them in games.
2nd down and 8, and that's dropped. It was dropped by James Jett.
And you wonder if it's because of the cold weather. I can't imagine that James Jett and Tim Brown and these guys, Dudley, they've played here before in cold weather. They should be able to get over that.
Right. In terms of the Broncos, just to follow up on this, there are teams that right now are very much on the decline. San Francisco, for instance, problems. There's no question about that. But don't put Denver in that category right now. There's too much talent. They've had too many injuries.
And they're young.
That's a whole other case. And you're talking 2 teams each with a mark of 3-7.
Right. And you found Chris Miller, an older quarterback that certainly can still play. And you have your quarterback of the future in Brian Griese. Not many teams are that lucky.
3rd down and 8. Gannon under pressure. Escapes a sack the first time and then almost gets tossed for a safety. His forward progress is outside the goal line, so at least he avoids the safety as Glenn Cudrez nearly picked up 2 points.
2 huge plays by Glenn Cudrez tonight, and right there showing his veteran understanding and knowing that Rich Gannon had nobody open downfield, and he just left his position. Glenn Cudrez is in the middle. He's backing up in his zone right now. He's reading Rich Gannon. He thinks he's going to run. He sees now he pulls it back. Let's go get him. And makes a great play.
Right.
Glenn Cudrez was the starting middle linebacker last year, who's been moved to John Mobley's spot, the weak outside linebacker, and their young rookie is now taking over Cudrez's spot. So a nice play by Cudrez. Good.
Now a short 10-yard snap. So Araguz has to get it away in a hurry, and it's blocked. It is blocked, and if it's recovered out of the end zone, it's a safety. Detron Smith blocked it.
Al, it is a safety, and I can't even tell you how impressed I am with the level of intensity that the Broncos have. You would think they're the ones fighting for their playoff lives, not the Oakland Raiders.
It is almost impossible to get a kick away when the ball is snapped from the half-yard line.
And it was blocked by a guy who actually was blocked.
Detron Smith, 42 for the Broncos, comes in, and it will wind up blocked by Smith, who is trying to work his way through Jordan. If it's recovered in the end zone, it's a touchdown.
Aragouz steps on him.
Yep, there's a little toe dance. It's 12-0.
Punters really don't get a chance to hit anybody, but
look at that. Right into the back of Anthony Lynn.
Tough deal. Usually that punter's back 12 to 15 yards out. When you're backed up like that, you got to close your splits up. The lineman, the fullback's got to move up, and everybody has just got to be real stout at the point of the attack. The punter also has got to take one step and kick it and get it out of there.
And the snapper's got to snap a rocket is what he has to do too.
Does this look like a 3-7 team to you?
No, not at all. Certainly not a team that ever thought about quitting.
You wonder after a Sports Illustrated article that came out after week 4.
Cover piece when they were 0-4. And that's a bad kick by Aragouz that is fielded by Billy Miller at the 40-yard line.
And Billy Miller made a great play just getting on that football. Remember, that can be looked at as an onside kick. That ball is live as soon as it goes over 10 yards.
A reminder, join the countdown to Wednesday's exciting finale of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The phenomenon continues tonight after football on the West Coast, and with a full hour tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on ABC. You like Regis' clothes?
He's shining, isn't he? He looked good. He looked good. Regis looking good.
From the 40-yard line, first down. Gain of 3 as Olandis Gary takes it up to the 43.
Now, I was talking about that last play on a punt like that after a safety. If the punt goes 10 yards, you can make it like a kickoff. It could be an onside punt. And there was a a Denver Bronco back there who did not go after the football. He backed away from it, and the receiver for the Broncos, Billy Miller, made the play, went after the football.
Second and 7, ball at the 43. 8:45 left in the half. 12-0 in the game dominated by Denver. Miller going deep. He has McCaffrey out in front and can't get it to him. Eddie had beaten the coverage as he got by Eric Allen, but Miller just slightly overthrowing it. Third down and 7.
People wonder how a guy like Ed McCaffrey, his size, can get past people. I think his speed is deceiving, and Eric Allen right there probably can't believe that he would run past him.
Ed McCaffrey, at one point a couple of years ago, he was the possession guy and Rod Smith was the big play guy. Now it's the reverse. There it is. In his first 110 games, he had 140-yard reception, and over the last season and a half, you saw the figure right there, 9 of them. And there is a timeout taken here by Denver. Their last one. .838 remaining in the half after the Denver timeout. Charles Woodson playing exclusively defense tonight. Last week he got in for 4 plays offensively, caught 1 pass. And right now third down and 7 after the Denver timeout. And Miller's pass is incomplete. He tried to hit McCaffrey in amongst 3 white shirts.
That ball just got away from Chris Miller. He actually had his receiver open, Ed McCaffrey. And remember, the ball is slick out here. The field is wet. Every now and again, the ball's going to get away from you, and right there it did. It's only a reason for that inaccuracy. One of the things that Chris Miller is really known for is his accurate passing.
Tom Ruin to punt it. Darian Gordon back to receive it. It's a short and fairly ugly kick. And Denver's going to down it at the 18, and the ball had the momentum to travel a little farther, but Steve Russ is the man who downs it at the 18. And even Ruin says, "Steve, what are you doing, man?"
Well, it's Monday night. I got to get on somehow.
8:23 left in the half. The Denver defense and Greg Robinson has put together a package thus far tonight that has completely stymied the Raiders. You had Mickens losing the ball. Crockett got it loose. Kadrez then ran it back. That led to a touchdown. You had the sack there by Ma'atano Visser. And then it was Gannon taken down there by Kadrez almost for a safety, which led to the block punt, which eventually turned into a safety. Now from the 18, here's Gannon to throw. And he sidearms it. And that's knocked down by Al Wilson, the rookie, the #1 pick out of Tennessee. And the guy getting to play because of the injury to Mobley knocks it down.
And Al, since the first series, Rich Gannon has not looked real solid back there. And Al Wilson makes a great defensive play right here, diving, knocking the ball down. But again, I think it's more because of the accuracy of the throw. If he puts the ball out in front of Wheatley, he's got a chance. He's got to get it out in front. Right now, he's just not throwing the ball very accurately.
No, he's missed his last 6. Now the draw, they give it to Kaufman, and he's able to spring it through the middle. And that's what Oakland needs, a little bit of a burst right there. And Napoleon gets out to the 33.
They need anything right now to keep their defense on the sideline and just allow this offense to somehow chew up some time and get some points here. 12-0 is not a very big score, and certainly 12-7, you get the momentum back a little bit, and that's exactly what they need to do right now.
Bill Callahan is the offensive line coach and has the title offensive coordinator, but it's Gruden who makes the calls and talks to Gannon. This is the first down for Oakland since the opening drive of the game from the 32-yard line. Gannon slings it, and it's picked off by Carter. Carter inside the 20. Gannon can't stop him, and then finally he is rolled out of bounds inside the 10. James Jett saves the touchdown.
You know, Dale Carter can do all the dancing he wants. It was really nothing that he did that forced this interception. It was just a bad pass by Rich Gannon behind his receiver. Take a look at this. James Jett is wide open. Just deliver the football. Carter's playing off because he's respecting the speed of James Jett. And look at that ball come fluttering out of there. You can do all the dancing and all that kind of stuff you want, but
So Gardner runs it back to the 9. It's 1st and goal. Miller with 7.5 to go in the half from the 9-yard line. Pressure is put on, and that time bursting through was Lance Johnstone. So the fake to Gary, and then Johnstone with a lot of speed. A 4th-year guy out of Temple who was their 2nd pick in '96.
It's the 2nd time he's gotten back there, and again the Raider defense finding himself down deep in a hole, and you could see right there the blitz. Look at all those guys that they're bringing, and Johnstone gets back there quickly. What you like to see at an outside linebacker position.
2nd and goal at the 9. Yep. Tailback. And this time it's Miller on a draw to the 7-yard line. Quarterback draw.
You think that was a draw?
Yeah,
or busted
I'm
play?
It looked like he goes back. It was a fake. You tell me what that was.
It was interesting.
Shanahan wants to know himself. Yeah, I can't imagine that's in the playbook. Can you?
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, they do have it down here. Remember, John Elway. This is a staple play of him. It looks like he feels the pressure, and well, 2nd and 10 maybe.
We'll read about it in the papers tomorrow.
Right.
3rd down and goal from the 7. From the shotgun. Miller, a little floater, and it's knocked down. It just hung too long. He tried to get it to Chamberlain, and Marquise Walker was able to get back and knock it down.
And you can see how angry Chris Miller is with himself. Drill it back there, throw it high, and let Chamberlain go up and get it. Chamberlain is actually open, and every week we see this. When you get down in here, the defenses basically make a picket a picket fence right in the center of the end zone, and you try to throw the ball over that picket fence, and Marquise Walker makes the play, but you have to get it back there with a little speed on it.
25-yard field goal attempt for Jason Elam. Tom Ruin to put it down, and the kick is perfect.
Hey, great job by the Raider defense, though. They're keeping it close.
They did. At least they keep the lead a 2-possession lead at 15-0 with 6:37 remaining in the half. Well, when we see the Raiders on a Monday night, we can't help but think back to 1987 at the Kingdome in Seattle. Raiders at Hawks. And Bo Jackson to the 20 and out in front, and only one man to beat, and Easley can't run him down. He had the angle, but there goes Bo, and nobody catches Bo. Touchdown.
He may not stop in Tacoma.
Phil Danny went all the way to Olympia that night. He went 91 yards on that play. That was a coming out party for Bo Jackson. The Oakland Raiders, as you can see, a playoff drought here. And again, this is a critical game for Oakland, in as much as the AFC is dominant this year. 5 teams, 8-2. So a 10-win season is no guarantee you got to get into the playoffs. 6:37 left in the half. This kickoff is a short one. It's taken by Napoleon Kaufman. And Napoleon across the 50, and then Elam finally runs him out of bounds inside the Denver 40-yard line. Torrey James had a chance to make the tackle early on and couldn't. And Kaufman sets Oakland up in its best field position of the night.
Finally, some field position for the Oakland offense. Let's see if they go for it here now and play aggressively and stop playing passively. And you can see right here, Kaufman catching the ball on the run, looking for the wedge, looking for that little seam, and James misses the tackle. And that's basically what plays like this come down to. Usually somebody has a chance to make that play.
47-yard run back by Napoleon. First down at the Denver 40-yard line. Gannon under pressure throws, and it's dropped. Wheatley can't handle it. He was blanketed by Al Wilson. Second down.
Dropped, but you wonder where the throw is. You have to get the ball out in front of these guys, and it looks like Rich is struggling tonight to deliver the ball where he wants to deliver it. There's a little bit of pressure on the last few plays. Nothing that really should create such problems for him in the pocket.
Meantime, Tim Brown still no catchers. Gannon is 0 through his last 8.
You can see him audibly and signaling out to his wide receivers now.
And what he's signaling is a running play, and that was Kaufman, who gets taken down by Keith Traylor before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Well, so much was said about the Oakland Raiders having their best offensive game last week against San Diego, and we're seeing no signs of that thus far tonight.
0.
And what we're seeing is we're seeing a Denver Broncos team, especially this defense, that is absolutely shutting them down. And remember, in the last 6 games, Al, I believe, Tim Brown has caught only 1 pass over 20 yards and no touchdowns against the Denver Broncos.
They know exactly how to defend him. 3rd down and 13 from the 43. Split back alignment. Gannon dancing, and then it is juggled, and it is caught for a first down to the 20-yard line. Ricky Dudley, and that's been the bugaboo for him, dropping balls. At least that time he was able to juggle it and recapture it. Big first down.
Big first down, big man. A guy like that he only has 15 receptions coming into this game. And I was standing next to Shannon Sharpe on the sideline, and we were marveling at the size of Ricky Dudley and how big he is. When you have a man with that kind of ability, you should be able to get the ball to him, but he's not holding onto the ball cleanly.
Former basketball player, 6'6", 255, ball at the 20-yard line. Under 5 minutes to play in the half. The short drop by Gannon, and the wobbly duck is incomplete. Intended for James Jett. 2nd and 10. Neil Smith, a longtime Chief, and the Raiders and the Chiefs and the Broncos, they keep exchanging. It's almost like you want to bring a guy in from your arch enemy to get into the other team's playbook.
Or deplete the other team. And really what you do is you look at it, you say, who in your own division has been killing you for years?
Right.
And certainly Neil Smith has been that against the Broncos, and now certainly he's on their team, and also Dale Carter.
In '94, the Broncos actually made an offer sheet to Tim Brown, which was matched by the Raiders. That is caught by the fullback Ritchie, and Ritchie goes to the pylon and scores. John Ritchie for the touchdown.
Al, if you battle, you just stay in there. It's a simple, easy play right here where the linebackers get caught inside. You talked about it before. John Ritchie doesn't get the ball handed to him very often, but they will throw it to him. And you can see right here a fullback that has the ability to catch the ball, turn up the field, and score the touchdown.
First TD of his career. You saw Gannon signal 2, and Gruden says not here. You do the next time. You get the 7 here, then you go for the 8.
You don't do the 2 until the 4th quarter until you think you need it.
I would go for it at 15-7, but there it is right there. The extra point is good. It's a 1-possession lead right now.
But you know, to go for 2, my thing is don't go for 2 until you absolutely need it in the 4th quarter. I don't like going for 2 now because you never know where that 1 or 2 points. You don't know what the future holds, the immediate future holds in the 2nd or 3rd quarter. For the amount of points you're going to score.
Gruden just hopes he has to make that call.
Right, he will.
When the score is 15-13. Right now it's 15-7. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by GMC. Do one thing, do it well. MGM Pictures, Bond is back. The world is not enough. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And Charles Schwab, when we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor.
You know what I'm talking about, that the 2-point deal, Al, is if you need it in the 4th quarter and you need it in the fine. Why use it now? You know what I'm talking about?
There are 2 sides to that coin.
You might be getting down in the field goal range here before too long. You score another touchdown, kick a field goal. Way too early to go for 2 right now.
Yeah, normally when a coach gets, it's funny, if he got the 15-13, my guess would be he'd go for 2. There's something about, just being able to tie the score. But first things first. Fielded in the end zone by Chris Watson, about 4 yards in. He brings it back to the 24. It was the run back by Kaufman that set up a very important Oakland drive. Next week, Sunday Night Football, Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, they'll be in Carolina, the Atlanta Falcons, to take on the Carolina Panthers. And then Monday night we go to 3Com Park in San Francisco. The 49ers are reeling, but Green Bay seems to be hot again. Brett Favre, good performance yesterday against Detroit. Packers, 49ers on Monday night next week.
I saw Brett talking about his thumb. He said it's starting to feel better. He started to throw the ball accurately, and he looked good yesterday. He looked real solid.
At the 22-yard line, first down for the Denver Broncos as Orlandis Gary breaks 3 tackles, puts his head down, and finally gets stopped at the 28 by Charles Mincy. Mike Shanahan was saying last night he's impressed upon Gary so much the fact he shouldn't fumble. He said, I may be restricting his running style because he's covering that ball and wants to make sure the last thing he does is fumble. He said once he really feels a little bit more confident carrying the ball, you're really going to see some moves.
And you can see right there just what it means to run through tacklers. I mean, in defensive linemen, defensive backs, I mean, he's doing it all tonight.
2nd and 4. Looks like a horticulture major right there. He hasn't fumbled in all those carries this season, and there he is again.
He hits the hole, and I mean, he hits it with a vengeance. And just figure he's sitting there watching Terrell Davis all through training camp, the first half of the season. And he's really picked up on it. The best teacher is to watch the master.
I asked him last night, I said, what do you know, you're a guy who had a good college career, you get drafted by Denver, were you disappointed? He said, no. So I knew I wasn't going to start. I knew I could learn from the best. But here's a kid who might have been inactive for every game this year were it not for the injury to Terrell Davis and then the subsequent injury to Derek Lavelle. 3rd and 3, and that is caught up at the 41 by Rod Smith, who comes back and angles his body away from Eric Allen and moves the chains.
Now, this is the way you come back for a football. Eric Allen was actually playing underneath Rod Smith, knowing that they only needed 3 yards. Eric Allen's a smart player. He's been around. He's 34 years old tonight. And Rod Smith fought him off and came back and got the football. I really like the way the Bronco receivers are aggressive and they come back and get it.
From the 42 on first down, back to Gary. Probes the right side to the 44. Second down and 8, stopped by Grady Jackson. Lesley, what you got? Lesley.
Al, Willie Brown was the Hall of Fame cornerback who played, of course, here with the Broncos until 1966 and was legendary with the Raiders until 1978. Well, Charles Woodson told me that playing at Michigan, winning the Heisman Trophy, was nothing compared to the pressure of wearing Willie Brown's number. He said he wasn't intimidated to meet Al Davis, but he never wanted anyone to say, you don't deserve to wear number 24. Yeah. Al.
Willie Brown, great player, great guy. 2-minute warning here in Denver. Raiders have gotten back in at 15-7. Tony Jones, the left tackle, with a triceps injury, and they expect him back shortly.
Well, there's one of those injured Broncos that they're not playing with. And also remember, no John Elway, no Steve Atwater.
Right.
Names that we've become familiar with over the years watching the Broncos march all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, we will have John Elway in the booth at halftime to find out what's new in his life. Second down and 8. And that pass is caught by Rod Smith, who breaks the tackle, picks up the first down, and is finally forced out of bounds by Johnstone. Anthony Newman's having a hard time tackling people tonight. Several missed tackles, 13-yard gain.
Well, we talked about it. It's a little chilly out here. It's about 20 degrees or close to it. And defenders have a hard time grabbing on to guys like this, and you can see a nice block there, but you have to make those tackles, and these are the plays that the Broncos have been making that the Raiders have not been making.
First and 10, Denver at the Raider 44-yard line. Miller 8 out of 16 tonight, and he sidearms it, caught by McCaffrey at the 41-yard line, taken out of bounds at the 29. First down, a run out by Mincy. So the Broncos 145. Remember, the Broncos are out of timeouts on this drive. They used all 3 earlier.
And you know that Ed McCaffrey knows that. So where does he go with the football? How smart is this guy as a football player? He goes right to the sideline to stop the clock.
Stanford guy.
Yeah.
That's what they teach him at Stanford. Get out of bounds.
I'm sure Mike Shanahan teaches all of these guys that.
First down, 29-yard line. Denver by 8. Waiting moments. That's an out. Caught by Travis McGriff, who backs up Rod Smith, the extra wide out. And McGriff is taken out of bounds, and that stops the clock.
And you could see right there why they love Chris Miller now. You could see he has a strong arm. He gets the ball out there quick. One of the things I'm most impressed with is that he's thrown it to all these different receivers. And take a look at this throw, right on the money. And the clothesline tackle of Mincy.
Second and a short 1 at the 20-yard line. Miller's going to take a chance. He's hit as he throws, and Rod Smith has it flipped away, ticked away by Eric Allen at the very end.
Exactly the way you want to cover it. Eric Allen, like I said, has been around, so he knows what to look for. They try to double move on him. Seen just about everything. It's a little bit of an out and up. There he goes on the up pattern, and look how he returns for the football. A lot of young defensive backs don't have the ability to do that.
He's an old defensive back.
He is, but he's still a good one.
34 today. Third and 1, seeking the first down, and Gary's, well, he wasn't going to get it, then he gets it in a lot more, but loses the ball, and the Raiders have it at the 5 as Mincy recovers it. What a play. He was stopped for the loss, picked up the first down, and his first fumble of the season is a huge one. Sam Sword hits him. Mincy recovers it, and the Raiders stave off the Broncos.
And Al, you jinxed them.
I did.
Yeah, you did jinx him. You said 5 minutes ago that Mike Shanahan's been talking about fumbling.
Right.
But this is the type of player that Olandis Gary is. He does not want to go down with the first hit. How many times do we see running backs go down? But look at the vicious hit that Sword delivers to force the fumble. That's not one of those things where he was holding a ball away from his body. You could see right there, he's got the ball up and tight, and that's just a perfect hit.
Sam Sword.
Sam Sword delivered the sword.
Yep, at least saving a probable field goal, maybe a touchdown. Raiders have all of their timeouts, but they have a long way to go, and they begin on the ground, and they give the ball to Napoleon Kaufman, who picks up 9 up to the 14. It's one of those situations where you want to get at least some distance between you and your own end zone before you start calling timeouts.
Right, I think right here, this is the key play. If you can get a first down or maybe even a significant gain, then you might go into your 2-minute offense. The Raiders have to feel fortunate that they're only down by 8 right now at this point in the game with the way the first half has gone thus far.
2nd and 1. They seek the first down, and it's Kaufman, and he gets stopped shy of the 20, so they can't pick up the first down here. Traylor makes the hit. They're going to let the clock run down. The Raiders have all of their timeouts, but it's almost as if they're content right now to sit on an 8-point deficit. And they are.
Yeah, and certainly not the place you want to have a turnover, so a smart move by John Gruden. Obviously, if they were up around the 35-40-yard line, he'd be well into their 2-minute drill at this point.
All right, so a reminder, John Elway coming up at the half. Chris will have his top 10 from New York, and also the BCS standings on the Lexus halftime show. 3rd and 1, and this half will end on a Napoleon Kaufman 3-yard gain. So the Raiders are able to get back in it. Kaufman sets it up with a good run back. They pay off with a touchdown toward the close of the half, and the teams leave the field with the Broncos up by 8. Halftime score is Denver 15, Oakland 7. Lexus halftime show coming up, and we're back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome to the Lexus Halftime Show, brought to you by Lexus and our relentless pursuit of perfection. Now, from the ESPN zone in New York's Times Square, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody, and let us be the first to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. It's early Thanksgiving in the NFC, where as we begin our top 10, everybody is still in the hunt. Tampa Bay was 3-4, but play number 10, clinging to a 12-10 lead very late against Atlanta. Donnie Abraham, Isaacs, and Jacobs is way into the end zone. The Bucs are now 6-4 and tied atop the Norris. They beat Atlanta 19-10. Is there anything that Edgerrin James, the rookie running back for the Colts, cannot do? 1,420 total yards. Yesterday takes a swing pass from Peyton Manning to add to the total as the Colts humble the Eagles in the city of brotherly love. Indianapolis is 8-2. On to college football for play number 8, where a junior from Waco, Texas, TCU Horned Frog LaDainian Tomlinson ran for an NCAA record 406 yards. Oh, by the way, he also had 6 touchdowns, breaking the old mark of 396 yards by Tony Sands. Congratulations. Ricky Williams' best college game was 350 yards, but welcome to the end zone of the pros. A scintillating touchdown run, although the Saints lost at Jacksonville. All-pro linebacker Junior Seau also a first. His first catch as a tight end, but ow, he pays for it. Ricky Running Waters had no touchdowns first 7 games for the Seahawks, but he had 3, including this pass from an alert John Kitna. Mike Holmgren's Seattle Seahawks win in Kansas City 31-19, stopping an 8-game losing streak at Arrowhead.
What's over, man? The streak is over! Okay, having said that, you got to come to work tomorrow.
Always work. The Jets working hard this week. Ray Lucas has led them to 2 wins in 1 week with catches like this off the stomach by Wayne Prevent. and interceptions like this off the back by Jason Wiltz, who helped Wiltz, the Bills' first-place hope, Jets over the Bills 17-7. The funniest play of the day in the Cleveland-Carolina game. Quarterback Tim Couch of the Browns hits a fumble, scooped up by Carolina. Oh, by the way, Carolina beat Cleveland. Play number 2, Steve Air McNair, was literally Air McNair for his 19th NFL rushing touchdown. Tennessee beats Pittsburgh. They're 8-2. But play number 1, look, Ma, one hand. Brett Favre throwing. Corey Bradford catching for the Pack as they snap their 3-game losing streak, beating the Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field. The Pack now at 5-5, one back in the NFC North behind the Lions, Bucks, and Vikings, who, by the way, become the 5th team this season to have a bye and move into first place. In college football, could these affect the BCS standings? The game. 67th pass of the day. Joe Wallen out of the hospital bed. Touchdown. 29 seconds to go to Eric Johnson. Yale in the game beats Harvard 24-21. They share the Ivy title with my alma mater, the Brown Bruins. James Perry, 17 Brown records, 9 Ivy League passing records. Brown beats Columbia 23-6. The Gatorade Shower for head coach Phil Estes. You can set your watch to it. Twice every century, Brown wins an Ivy League football championship. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Lexus Halftime Show. 15-7 Denver over Oakland. On to the BCS standings, Ivy League results notwithstanding. Florida State would tend to win the season 11-0 by beating Florida, and the Swamp remains the undisputed number 1. Undefeated Virginia Tech, who edged Temple, remains number 2 with 1 game left. Once beaten and still playing Nebraska, remains 3rd, but is within striking distance of the all-important number 2 slot. All right, let's go back to Denver now in our game. Al, welcome to winter. I mean, the elements, though, never bothered your guest, I don't think.
No, they did not. And our guest is looking very nattily attired. Of course, the last time most Denver fans saw him posing in uniform, he was holding aloft a 2nd Super Bowl trophy. John Elway, who retired this season, is with us. And John, I've never talked to a retired superstar who didn't say they at least somewhat missed that great rush. How much do you miss playing?
A little bit. I don't miss a whole lot. I miss being in the huddle. I miss game time and you know, game day, you miss that. But all the other stuff that comes along with it, you know, I don't miss that. And especially waking up on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, the body feels a lot better nowadays than it used to. So that's why I'm glad, but I'm not glad.
It's almost like the title of an old love song. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? What are you going to do with your life over the next couple of years?
Well, I've kind of just taken some time this fall, and I've got some real exciting things that I'm looking at, and I've got an e-commerce site coming out in a couple of weeks that we're real excited about, and so I'm working on that. And plus, I got to coach my son's football team this fall, and that was a lot of fun to be able to spend some time with him, and also my daughters who are very busy in soccer.
How important is it for you to get back to football, either as a coach or an executive or in broadcasting in the future?
I think in the long run, that's something I want to do. I've been in football my whole life with my dad being a football coach. That's what I know. That's what I'm best at. But I'm going to take a couple years away from it for now, and then hopefully down the line I can get back into it because that's where my love is.
A bunch of quarterbacks have retired and put uniforms on. Randall Cunningham, Chris Miller. You're not thinking about doing that, are you?
No, there's no uniform going back on. It the body can't take anymore, and I abused it for long enough, and so it's time for me to be nice to it.
Let's pretend you're in broadcasting right now, and you had 20 or so seconds to sum up the 1999 Denver Broncos. What would you say?
Well, I'd say that they've had it's been a tough year. It's been a disappointing year. I'm sure that they had high expectations coming out and wanted to three-peat. Had several injuries that have really hurt them, and losing Terrell and some leadership positions have really cost them. So, but the thing is, they're 3-7, but they've been in every football game that they've played, and as you can see tonight, they're still playing hard. Mike's got them playing hard.
You're looking great. Best to Janet. Good to see you, John.
Thanks, Al.
Carpool tomorrow?
Yep, you bet.
Okay.
You bet.
John Elway joining us tonight in Denver, where the Broncos are leading the Raiders at the half. It's 15-7, second half when we come back on Monday Night Football. What a spectacular shot that is. Our producer Ken Wolf, director Craig Janoff, in a full moon.
So I guess the snow is no longer around.
Not at the moment, which is good news for those of us departing from the airport tomorrow as the kickoff begins the second half, and it's taken by Chris Watson. A yard into the end zone. He fumbles the football, and the Raiders recover at the 13-yard line. It is Travian Smith who recovers the fumble, and so the Raiders with a chance right now perhaps to tie it up down by 8. And Rick Dennison with that look of consternation.
Al, every week we see this. It seems like two different teams come out in the second half, and right now the Raiders ran down the field and just absolutely hammer Watson right here. And take a look at this. Randy Jordan, number 28, knocks it loose. And I think the Raiders sense that they have to get this game under control to save their playoff lives.
No doubt. Tim Brown without a catch in the first half. He's wide to the right. They begin on the ground. They give the ball to Wheatley. A yard, maybe 2. John Gruden calling in the play to Gannon.
Take a look at this fumble here, and let's take a look if Nate Wayne, number 54, doesn't knock it out. It looks like he might have. But still, it's because of number 38 and the hustle of getting down the field. Randy Jordan.
Second down and 9 with the ball at the 12-yard line. Gannon surveying. Secondary does its job and getting free then in the end zone, and catching it for the touchdown is Ricky Dudley. Dudley caught 2 Gannon passes for touchdowns last week, and now with 56 seconds gone in the third quarter, they are down by 2, and they are going to go for 2.
He must have listened to you at halftime, Al.
Well, you're down by 2. You got to take your shot here.
You talk about instincts, and it's one of the things that Ricky Dudley certainly has as a wide receiver. He's working his way at the back of the end zone. And this time gets away from Glenn Kurjens, but you can't ask those guys to cover them that long. You have to get to the quarterback.
From the 2-yard line, the 2-point conversion, which would tie the game. They fake it to Richie. Gannon escaping. Gannon throws. Caught. 2-point conversion. And that's James Jett. And Jett quick, the Raiders have tied it up.
In 56 seconds, here we go. We got us a ball game.
A look at disgust on Robinson's face, and the game is tied 15-15. Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, and Lesley Visser in Denver. A game in which Denver led 15-0. And we're now knotted as Michael Husted's kickoff is fielded in the end zone. Chris Watson to run it back. And the Eastern Illinois rookie out past the 30 and all the way out to the 41-yard line. Let's go to Lesley Visser.
Al, that opening drive must have made John Gruden happen. He said at halftime, we aren't tackling, we've had terrible field position, and I know that Rich Gannon can play better than that. Bingo, mission accomplished. As for Mike Shanahan, he said we aren't making enough clutch plays, and we have to make them in the fourth quarter. The only team they've beaten in the fourth quarter, Oakland. Al?
That's a good point. Yeah, the Broncos noted, of course, with Elway at the helm for those fourth quarter comebacks. Now, they've been giving up leads in the fourth quarter.
They've been falling apart in the fourth quarter, and you look at the way Rich Gannon threw the ball, those first 2 throws that he had in the second half, looks like a different player.
From the 41-yard line, and there's action on the left side. There was movement on the offensive line.
It's going to be Carswell this time, the tight end, but Rich Gannon was only 7 for 17 in the first half and comes out and completes his first 2.
Larry Nemmers moving the ball back to the 36-yard line. Mike Shanahan, the coach of the LA Raiders in 1988 and then fired after 4 games in 89. And believe me, there is no team he loves beating more than the Raiders. Not even close. 1st and 15 from the 36. Miller And to the 44-yard line. Greg Biekert stops him there.
You know, when you talk to Chris Miller and you start talking about concussions, the last thing he wants to talk about. He's over that. He's done MRIs. He's done all sorts of neurological tests, and to make sure that he is certainly sound upstairs. And the way that he's played the last few weeks, you could see that he is not bashful at all, lowering his head and diving forward.
Done it twice tonight. Picked up a key first down in the first quarter doing it. 2nd down and 7. Miller throws over the middle, juggled and incomplete. Olandis Gary, who hadn't fumbled all season, then he fumbles at the end of the first half and juggles this one. He knew that Sam Sword was in the region.
Well, he remembers the last time he met Sam Sword, what happened. No, and that's an interesting thing about Sam Sword. You know, this is a spot on the Raider defense that has been a little bit of a kind of an enigma, in the sense that they are a good defense, but they haven't been getting great play there. Take a look at number 62 and watch the leg whip here. This is what a lot of things that the offensive linemen do for the Broncos that aggravate other teams around the league.
That was Dan Neal, 3rd down and 7. And that pass is underthrown, and Ed McCaffrey can't make the play, and it's 4th down. The pressure put on that time by Grady Jackson.
And Grady Jackson ran right over Dan Neal. There was no leg whip there. There was a head hit, though. Dan Neal's back of his head hit the ground after Grady Jackson ran over him.
A good run back by Watson, but that's all for naught.
Take a look at this. Watch Grady Jackson come right around the corner right there. And all they're doing inside is twisting. They're sending one defensive tackle underneath and the other one around and getting back to Chris Miller.
Tom Ruin with a mile-high kick in Mile High Stadium. A flag is thrown at the line of scrimmage. Fair caught by Gordon at the 28-yard line. An eligible man downfield. It was 4th down and 7. Rick Dennison not very pleased right now, the Broncos special teams
Ineligible
coach.
receiver downfield on the kicking team. Number 56. Penalty is declined. 1st down, Oakland.
It's Al Wilson. So the Raiders have it with the game tied. 12:51 left in the 3rd. 15-15. College football coming up this Saturday on ABC, beginning in the afternoon. Regional action, Arizona against Arizona State, Georgia Tech. And then Saturday night in prime time, it's Notre Dame against the Rose Bowl bound Stanford Cardinal. Raiders have it at the 28-yard line. Gannon throws, caught by Brown, his first catch of the night, and it's a big one, and he takes it to the 49-yard line of Denver.
Al, you and I were just talking. They've got to get the ball to Tim Brown. He has 60 receptions coming into this game. Hasn't had a ball thrown to him until this point right here. I think the biggest beneficiary of Tim Brown has been Ricky Dudley tonight. He's found room for 3 catches. And look at this. All they do is he's the outside guy. They bring him underneath the 2 guys that are streaking down the field, and they create illusions in that zone defense that the Broncos are playing.
Little miscommunication here, and the backs have to come up and ask Gannon what's going on. Play call and the count. 1st down, split back set. Gannon throws, and it is caught by James Jett, who had to reach back to make the grab.
But no panic on the face of Rich Gannon. That's 4 in a row now that he's completed. He's audibling at the line of scrimmage, one of the most difficult places to audible in the NFL, right here in Mile High because of the noise of the crowd. And you can see he's poised, he's come back, he's playing well right now, and he's in a zone.
Brown comes out for the moment to get some grass taken out of the helmet. And mud and dirt, 2nd and 4 at the 43-yard line. Kaufman. And he dances his way toward that 1st down marker and appears to have it. He does. Out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Now, Gannon, he had a terrible game a couple of weeks ago against Miami. A fabulous game against the San Diego Chargers last week. Tonight he's had 2 games within a game.
4 touchdowns last week against San Diego, and
25% on the 31st, and then after the bye week, completes 3/4 of his passes.
Where does Steve Hurt find this stuff?
He's up all night, every night. with an abacus. From the 38-yard line, Wheatley to the 26-yard line, and the entire game has shifted. It's all Oakland right now after it was all Denver for the first 25 minutes.
Momentum and emotion, and certainly a fumble by Chris Watson at the top of the second half, and a kickoff return has kind of ignited the Raiders a little bit. And I'm sure John Gruden read them the riot act in the locker room at halftime for their lackluster play, especially on offense.
First down, Oakland at the 26 of the Broncos. Wheatley, and coming up to stuff it at the line of scrimmage is Tyrone Braxton. Tyrone Braxton, a 12th round draft choice out of North Dakota State, 13th year in the league. He has spent all but 1 year with the Broncos. He went to Miami in the mid-90s for a year, then came back. Yeoman duty through the seasons.
Somebody that they can count on, and certainly still has a lot left in that tank. Look, throwing his body in there. 13-year veterans taking on big backs like that. It's a lot of courage, Al.
2nd and 8 from the 24-yard line. Gannon over the middle, and it's incomplete. Threw it into traffic, and it bounces off Ray Crockett, intended for Brown.
This is an area down here where you have your big tight end and Ricky Dudley. At 6'6", 255, should be able to control the middle of the field. And I was asking John Gruden last night, how come he doesn't get as involved as, say, a Shannon Sharp would in Denver? He says, well, you know, we like our other guys, Brigham and Walker, too. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's not catching the ball as cleanly as he should. Although he's doing well tonight thus far.
3rd down and 8. Gannon throws. It is caught out on the flat of the 20-yard line. Caught by Ritchie, but he's tackled by Crockett. Short of the first down by 3, and now Husted will come in to attempt what will be about a 36-yard field goal.
Nice tackle by Crockett, staying low on the fullback Ritchie, and when you're a defensive back and you see a big rumbling fullback coming at you, go right for their legs. That's obviously where you want to take them.
It'll be 37 yards for Husted to try to give Oakland its first lead of the night. Aragouz to put it down at the 27. And Husted's kick, not even close.
I don't know what Aragouz and Husted had for pregame meal, but whatever it is, they better look at it. Oh, man.
There's a flag thrown at the end of the play. It just came down. So there may have been some, as we halt the band here, just for the moment, might have been a little altercation. Neil Smith and Adam True and Paul Grasmanis were all having a little bit of a mini Donnybrook. So it's going to be a post-play foul. Frank Gans Jr. that's Gans, the special teams coach of the Raiders.
I chatted with him a little bit yesterday, and he was talking about the directional kicking of his punter, but tonight Aragouz is having a tough time.
Personal foul on the defensive team, number 63. After the play was over, for unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty. First down, Denver.
Defensive team, as in the field goal kicking team, he meant. That's Barrett Robbins, and that's a very costly penalty. It moves the ball almost to midfield. John Gruden is not a happy puppy right now. 15 all. Barrett Robbins has really done a masterful job, the offensive line this year, the center, but here a personal foul and a costly 15.
Really is, and it looks like inside you have guys who have hands up in the face mask, and you can see Robbins and Neil Smith going at it. I didn't really see anything that warranted a 15-yard penalty.
So here's Gary now as he takes it up to the 46-yard line, stopped by James Harris.
But as we saw Barrett Robbins on the sidelines, there he is. If you have a kid that looks like that, make him a center, because that's what centers look like. Look at him.
When you think of the Raiders, I mean, the Raiders are noted for centers in their 40-year history. Jim Otto, Dave Dalby, Don Mosbar. And then this guy looks like he's going to be of that same ilk.
Exactly. They're very happy with him, and he's certainly, that's where the anchor has to be the center, the tough guy in the middle, much like for the Broncos, Tom Nalen is.
2nd down and 6. Pressure is put on, and there's a flag thrown as Miller goes down in the grasp of Lance Johnstone.
That will be holding. Now, every week we see this momentum shifting, and you can see the level of play rising in one team as opposed to another. And right now, the Raider defense just seems like they're carrying over the way they played at the end of the first half, and they're getting after Chris Miller now. Now they're getting back there and forcing him to throw the ball quickly.
Offense number 62, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, we've talked about this before, Boomer. I think this is an interesting choice for a coach to make. If you take the play, it's 3rd and 6. If you take the penalty, 2nd and 16. I don't know that I don't take the play. You just give them one chance. Yeah.
3rd and 6 is a makeable number. It's not that difficult for an offense, so I can understand why they wanted to tack the extra 10 yards on.
It's a gray area. There's another flag here on 2nd and 16. Gary gets the handoff. Grady Jackson came across. Was he induced? And now we've got another tete-a-tete. Chief Jackson would say a couple of teams that don't like each other very much.
Defense, number 90, offside in the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
So now you've got it coming back up to the 41, and it's 2nd and 11.
You can see John Gruden telling his players to be smart on the road. In order to win on the road, you have to try to be as clean as you possibly can. And one of the things that John Gruden has done so well has limited the penalties of the Raiders. They're the 9th least penalized team in the NFL.
2nd and 11. That's Gary. Stop for no gain. Well, Gruden comes out of a football family. His father, a regional scout for the 49ers, was an assistant with the Buccaneers under John McKay, and his brother, Jay, is the youngest head coach in the Arena Football League with Orlando.
There was talk of him maybe receiving a nod to become the next head coach of LSU, and his response to that was, they must be talking about my brother Jay Gruden, not me. I like my job.
Yeah. 3rd and 11, halfway through the 3rd quarter. The game is tied. Miller, McCaffrey, and he is stopped well short of the 1st down. Charles Woodson making sure he went no farther.
See, if it's 3rd and 6, you make that 1st down.
Well,
but it's not.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just saying, if it were,
you make it. If it was. If sugar and spice, well, never mind.
I know. You know, you talk about the Raiders penalties, though. They're averaging 6 penalties per game, and basically, like I said, they're the 9th fewest in the NFL, which is really a good job by John Gruden, because they're notorious, or have been notorious up to this point, about being the most penalized team.
Definitely. Bruins kick, fair catch called for, made at the 19-yard line by Darian Gordon. And Oakland will take over at the 20 with 6:47 left in the 3rd. A good one at Mile High. Neil Smith with that designer noseband, and Hames TV online right now. With Monday Night Football, you can get up-to-the-minute stats, play an interactive game, also trivia. Go to ESPN.com or NFL.com. Oakland from the 20-yard line, and Wheatley is taken down in the backfield by Keith Traylor. When you look at Traylor and Price, Boomer, in the interior line, they are well fortified.
That's like Bowens and Gardner down in Miami, and usually when a player like this makes a play, he either jumps over a tackle or a guard, and right there it's over a tackle, and that's the type of athleticism you like to see from your big interior guys.
Look at that. Denver with a 1-yard advantage, and the game is tied. 2nd down and 13. from the 17-yard line. The blitz, but Gannon escapes, throws, and it's a big first down to Ricky Dudley, who makes the catch. They sent Cadrez from the outside, and the nimble Gannon was able to get away. Smith is slow in getting up after a 22-yard gain here.
Gannon got away, and Dudley makes a clean catch. He looks it in, and he gets precious yards after the catch. And when you talk about a guy like Ricky Dudley again, Al, watch Gannon move away. He doesn't panic. He resets and throws a strike right to Dudley, who makes a nice catch, puts his shoulder down and gets an extra 5 yards. That's the type of plays that kid should be making on a more consistent basis.
Injury timeout while they work on Smith, who's walking off the field with 5:51 left in the third. Neil Smith working it off on the sideline. Meanwhile, Eddie Money's going to guest star as Mimi's ex-husband on the Drew Carey Show Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on ABC. First down for the Raiders in a tie game as they begin from the 39-yard line. And that is caught by Brown, his second catch of the game. Tim Brown, a first down and into Denver territory at the 49.
And why is that second catch significant for Tim Brown, Al?
Has a pretty good little streak going.
He sure does. And you talk about these guys that have streaks of one catch in consecutive games. Well, Tim Brown has 102 games with 2 receptions.
Second longest streak in NFL history, and it's pretty easy to guess who the #1 guy is.
My main man, Jerry Rice.
See him next week. San Francisco against Green Bay. First and 10 at the 49-yard line. Wheatley. Nothing happening in the middle. Smith is out, and for the moment you've got Tanavasa, Price, Grasmanis, and Hasselback along the line. Lesley, what you have?
Al, there's a lot of confidence here on the Raider bench. Russell Maryland cautioned his teammates not to get into a confrontation. He said, be smart, walk away, don't worry, we've got this one. Al?
Wow, that's the Raiders saying that?
No.
You'd never expect the Raiders to say that, would you?
Power of positive thinking.
Absolutely.
Second down and 8.
And he can sense it. I sense it up here.
At the moment, second down and 8 at the 46-yard line. Wheatley again. Started to cut it back and then proceeds over left guard at the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2, tripped up by Grasmanis. Rich Gannon, part of the class of '87, as was Miller. Gannon was the 98th choice in that draft by New England in the 4th round. Miller, the 1st round pick of Atlanta, went as the number 13 guy.
Who else? Jim Harbaugh.
Harbaugh was in that class.
And Kelly Stouffer, I believe, as well.
Right. 3rd down and 3. From the 42. Gannon fires over the middle and finds the open man, and it's Brigham, the tight end, to the 11 and a first down. Jeremy Brigham.
You talk about the West Coast offense. This is the way it works. You send 3 players to one side. You allow your quarterback to read the coverages. He plants, he throws, and he finds his backup tight end right in the seam of the zones. And Brigham now taking a page out of Ricky Dudley's book and making some yards after the catch. And I wonder if Ricky Dudley hasn't picked up his game because of the other guys that are playing tight end for the Raiders now as well.
Right. Brigham's 8th catch of the season, and now Wheatley, and he gets taken down at the 5-yard line by Ray Crockett. Otherwise, they may have gone all the way. The Raiders under Gruden are the type of team that likes to run the ball as opposed to passing it in the red zone. You take somebody like a Mike Holmgren, for whom Gruden worked. Mike loves to pass in the red zone. Gruden loves to run it.
Well, this is like an offensive coordinator who wants to do his thing and wants to take his offense and put his stamp on it. And John says, hey, I love to run down here.
2nd and 3 from the 5. Kaufman is the running back in this set. They give it to Napoleon. Nowhere. Smith, as you can see, is back in the game, and Al Wilson makes the initial hit.
And now every week we get down here in this tight red zone area, and you always look for the vulnerable spots in the end zone when you go back to pass. And most defenses will not cover the back half of the end zone. So you either work on the outside one-on-one with your tall receivers, which the Raiders do not have. They don't have a Randy Moss out there or a Chris Carter. As good as Tim Brown is, he's more of an internal inside receiver. But you can use your big tight end, Ricky Dudley, to get in behind and throw it up over the shorter defensive backs.
And as they come up to the line of scrimmage, a little too much time on the play clock had expired, and so they take a timeout before a very important play. 3rd down and 4 with 1:51 remaining in the 3rd. Raiders trying to win here for the first time since returning from Los Angeles. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving. Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. The Intel Pentium 3 processor, power for a great internet experience. And End of Days from Universal Pictures starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Skiing. Well, a skiing scene anyway. You know, Malibu Kelly Hayes actually lives in Aspen.
So let's call him Aspen Kelly
Well,
Hayes.
no, we cannot.
Didn't he go to Brisbane this summer?
I don't know, but all I know is that they'll be skiing in the mountains after 8 inches of snow in Denver.
Well, talking to the people here in Denver, they said Monday night snow, that's good.
Yeah.
We want people to come out here and come to our ski mountain.
It hasn't snowed during the game, though. He had 9 inches earlier today. 3rd down, 4 from the 6-yard line. Gannon under pressure, sacked back at the 16. Big sack by Cadrez. Gannon is slow in getting back up. And now you've got a chip shot field goal that turns into about a 33-yarder from a guy who missed one from about the same distance a few minutes ago.
And he wasn't even close.
And Gannon in agony. So they go from a near touchdown to a questionable field goal possibility and a quarterback who's grimacing.
Remember, his left wrist is broken, and it looks like it got grabbed right there by the defensive player of the Broncos.
Michael Husted, 33-yard attempt. Aragouz puts it down, and it's good. So Husted is able to give Oakland its first lead of the night. And now the question becomes, what about Gannon? The backup quarterback is Bobby Hoying. The number 3 quarterback is Wade Wilson.
You know, I wonder if it's his wrist. Now, he has that chip in his left wrist. He's got it covered. He's got it wrapped. And every time he takes a snap, it's got to hurt. It's got to remind him. John Gruden was telling us yesterday that when he does fall to his left side, that he's unable to brace himself. And you wonder if it's not a rib cage or a shoulder. And take a look at Glenn Cadrez comes flying back there again. It seems like Glenn's all over the place tonight. And let's take a look here at what he grabbed. Looks like he's grabbing his ribs. Okay. You wonder if he fell on it, because he's unable to brace himself because of that left hand or his left wrist.
So you saw Hoying and Wilson both loosening up. When you list somebody as the 3rd quarterback, you can't bring him into the game until the 4th quarter. Otherwise, you lose the other guy. But we're almost to the 4th quarter now anyway. So they could bring in either guy if it's necessary. Here's Watson to return the kick. Watson out past the 20. There's a flag thrown. And he's taken down to the 44-yard line. So what would have been a pretty good run back is probably going to come back, because 90% of the cases it's the returning team, and this is one of those cases.
And now the interesting thing from our vantage point up here, you can see 4 or 5 different scuffles going on all over the field.
During the return, holding number 54, 10-yard penalty, 1st down, Denver.
Now if Rich Gannon is unable to go, I would imagine that you're going to see Bobby Hoying, who John Gruden knows very well. He was his offensive coordinator in Philadelphia under Ray Rhodes. And that's when Bobby Hoying was thought to be the heir apparent to the Philadelphia quarterback situation. And after Gruden left, Hoying went downhill.
Right.
And they basically got him for literally nothing.
Or do you put it in the hands of Wade Wilson, who's been there and done that since 1981?
Now it's awful cold for those old guys.
From the 12-yard line, this is Gary with a big hole. Or Boomer, you could use Hoying as the setup guy, and then Wilson comes out of the bullpen to close it and gets the save.
I don't know. Wade Wilson's been standing on that sideline all night tonight, and I just can't imagine that he's thinking that he's going into the football game.
Bruised right rib, and it looks as if Gannon's prepared to come back in as the seconds tick down here in the third. Gary swings to the outside, and Gary up to the 31-yard line. So 2 good runs in the waning moments of period 3, tackled by Beekert.
And you saw there the silky moves of a running back that knows how to get outside and get away from the interior pursuit. And I am very impressed with him. The first time that I've seen him obviously live, but I've watched a few of their films, and he is a physical running back. And I can't get over the resemblance that he has in body type and size and speed to Terrell Davis.
2nd down and 1. Final play of the period. Miller's going to throw, and it has it knocked down and nearly picked off by Richard Harvey. So I had it right there. End of the 3rd quarter with a score. Oakland 18, Denver 15. Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations. In Denver, Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, Lesley Visser. The 4th quarter starts on a 3rd and 1, and they give the ball to the up back Howard Griffith, and he picks up a 1st down to the 34-yard line. Oakland leading 18-15 in a game Denver led at one point 15-0. Whether Rich Gannon hurt on the last series, whether he comes back in the next time they have the ball remains to be seen.
Oh, he's got to come back in. That's why John Gruden went and got him. Because he knows he's going to play hurt, and he's got to play in games like this.
1st and 10.
Little bruised rib, forget that.
Forget that, right? At least he has his helmet on anyway. And here is Gary, and Gary makes the acquaintance of, along the defensive front, one Russell Maryland. Raiders began this comeback at the end of the first half, 15-7. Then in the 3rd quarter on the opening kickoff, Watson goes down. Jordan forced the fumble, and then Gannon makes it pay off with his touchdown pass to Ricky Dudley, followed by the 2-point conversion to James Jett. And then when Oakland moves down deep into Denver territory again, it's a field goal here by Husted, who'd earlier missed an opportunity to give them the lead, and Oakland with 18 unanswered points. 2nd down, 13 now at the 31-yard line with McCaffrey in motion. And a little backside screen that Gary couldn't handle. Russell Maryland was right there anyway. Would have knocked him down for a loss.
Now, right now, Willie Shaw is doing an excellent job of keeping the Raider defense in the face of the Denver offense. You can see right here when they run the screen, the perfect defense is called. The guys are reading it out, and it seems like that they know the plays prior to the snap the last couple downs here. This Raider defense has really played a heck of a football game. It's kept them in it throughout the first half and has given them some pretty good field position here in the second half.
3rd and 13. Miller operates from the gun, and the pass is errant and thrown behind and low to Rod Smith. So after Gary picks up a couple of first downs with nice running, out they go, and they're forced to punt again.
Sometimes when you have a really smart quarterback, it works against you. In that particular play, Chris Miller saw the blitz coming. He knew that nobody was there to pick up the blitz, so he kind of rushed his throw a little bit. At least he didn't take a sack and fumble.
Tom Ruin to punt from the 31-yard line. Darian Gordon back to receive it. Gordon will finally get to run one back. Escapes a would-be tackle, but then gets knocked down at the 18. That's great coverage as Detron Smith, who blocked the kick before, got down there. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Ineligible man downfield.
So we'll take him back and do it
against
over.
Denver. Again.
If there's a guy on this field that wants to make a play, it's Darian Gordon.
Especially today.
Absolutely.
Only because for a long time now, Gordon has had the highest career punt return average. Let's get the call.
Ineligible player downfield in the kicking team, number 42.
That's
5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
That's why Detron Smith was able to get down there so quickly. But there's a minimum number of punts you need to return to qualify for the all-time record. Carl Williams of Tampa was below that number until yesterday when he ran back a couple. So now Carl Williams is the all-time leader in punt return average, and Gordon is second. I wonder if Carl even knew that. If Carl is listening,
he knows it now.
Yes, he does. Carl's calling his agent right now. Here's Ruin's kick.
Definitely returnable now.
Yep. Gordon from the 25-yard line.
Oh.
And with no flags, he brings it back to the 39, where he's crunched by Darius Johnson. 13-11 remaining in the 4th. Gannon's going to come back in with Oakland up by 3. A reminder, after the game, ESPN has a Monday Night Football post-game show with live reports and analysis. This has been a good one to this point. First down, Oakland from the 38-yard line. They lead by 3. Gannon with a play fake. He's going to throw, and it is caught. Brown makes the catch, and Carter runs him out, but not until Timmy's picked up the first down.
Dale Carter got caught looking into the backfield with a nice play fake to Kaufman from Gannon. And they gave Tim Brown just enough to get across, and Gannon floated him the ball. So defensive backs are looking in the backfield, not what you're supposed to be doing when you're out there. Keep your eyes on your guy.
First down from the 49. Look at Romanowski. And going nowhere is Kaufman. Stopped by Coghill. Broncos will play one more season in this stadium, and then in the year 2001 they will move next door. And there is Pat Bolin. He was able to help shepherd through the plan to build the new Mile High Stadium, which is under construction in what was now the parking lot. And there it is in the daytime, right next door to Mile High Stadium, the brand new 76,000 seat facility to open in 2001. Second and 11 as Gannon retreats under pressure, escaping, and then finally flings it away. Nobody home, pressured by the defense. Third down, Monte Rieger leading the charge.
Al, the reason you heard me moan like that is Monte Rieger just absolutely ran over Tyrone Wheatley. Now, I don't know about the blocking scheme here where you have a halfback trying to pick up a defensive end, but I am telling you, Monte Rieger just absolutely flattened Tyrone Wheatley. Take a look at this. Here he is. Bang. See you. Get out of the way. I'm coming through. Oh, man. You know, I never liked offensive line coaches that said, you know, these guys can handle those guys. They can't handle those guys.
So third down and 11 now as Gannon is under pressure again. Had by the shirt. He escapes again, and he turns what would have been a sack at least into an incompletion to save some yardage. Trevor Price almost had what would have been his 8th sack of the season.
That time a mix-up on the offensive line between Barry Sims, the right guard, and Lincoln Kennedy, the right tackle. And you can't allow guys to come scot-free. That's twice now that Rich Gannon's had to get rid of the football and not take sacks. And you can see right there, Barry Sims allowing number 93 to come flying through there, Trevor Price, and Gannon having the presence of mind to throw the football away and not take the sack.
Leo Aragus to punt. That's a terrible kick. Off the side of his foot, a flag goes down. Now 2 flags come down. There's an altercation here between 2 Broncos and 1 Raider, with Billy Miller involved and Charles Mincy involved as well. Meanwhile, the kick goes out of bounds near the 35-yard line.
You think Wade Wilson could punt?
Oh boy. Well, I know one thing. The call will go against Oakland. I don't know if Wilson, they're going to decline this penalty, of course. I don't know if Wilson can punt, but I do know who can place kick if it came down to it.
All right. Go ahead, give it to me.
Believe, well, you know
Holding
where I'm going.
during the kick on number 22 of the kicking team.
Mincy.
That's a 10-yard penalty from where the kick ended. First down.
That's Mincy. Well, we'll go to where we were going when we come back.
All right.
From where we were coming.
Tough night for a punter, Al.
That pose
tells it all, doesn't it?
Says it in spades. The penalty was declined. The block, by the way, the block of his earlier kick was the first of his career. Now, after that bad boot, first down Denver from the 34-yard line, and that is off the fingertips of Griffith. So Miller, who started hot, right now when you look at his numbers, he's completing just a little bit more than 40%. He's 11 out of 26.
And his last few attempts have not even been close. And you know, these are the types of things as a quarterback that you go through in the game, Al, that you're not always going to be sharp, but sooner or later you're going to have to start completing the easy ones. And he's missed a few here the last few throws, but we saw Rich Gannon do that early in the game, but fight through it and come back and make some nice throws.
Right. Second and 10, ball at the 35-yard line. Oh, and it's a fumble. And Miller lost the football, and Olandis Gary winds up saving the bacon, at least for the moment. I guess when you cover up the pigskin, you truly are saving the bacon.
You sure are saving the bacon right here. You're saving a few other things, too.
Ball at the 29-yard line. It'll leave third down. And 16.
Take a look at what happened here. Look, Chris Miller had the ball. Tom Nalen delivered it perfectly. It seems like he is out of sync right now, Chris Miller is. And you're trying to find a play that he's comfortable with that maybe he can complete.
From the shotgun against a three-man rush. Underneath, it is caught by Chamberlain. And Byron takes it out to the 40-yard line, well short of the first down. And another Denver 3 and out.
So, in essence, the Aragu's shank doesn't really hurt you in terms of giving up points, but where it does hurt you is right here. If you don't get a punt return, it's in field position.
Right.
You see Gary Kubiak right there. He is the, I guess, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and certainly is frustrated by the play of his offense the last few series.
I have turned down the head coaching job at the University of Colorado. And now Ruin's kick is an ugly duck, but it takes a very nice Denver bounce. Gordon fields at the 15, and a flag is thrown as Gordon is taken down at the 18-yard line.
And I think you're going to have a push in the back, maybe, by number 34, Jermaine Williams of the Raiders. There it is.
And that is the call. And there is the culprit. It's going to march him back
Illegal
inside
block
the 10.
in the back during the return, number 34. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Oakland.
Put the ball back at about the 8-yard line. 10:04 left in the fourth. The Raiders with 18 unanswered points, leading by 3. Well, Brian Greasy has his helmet on, taking snaps from Nalen, indicating that Brian's going to come in the next time Denver has the ball. Oakland has it here at the 8-yard line. The crowd is in full throat right now, and Wheatley runs right through Braxton, who makes the tackle at the 14-yard line.
After that last series out, Chris Miller came off the field kind of shaking his head, like as to say, you know, I'm not seeing things, or I'm a little dazed. I'm not really sure. But look at this. This is how he left the field. Now he's taking some shots back there. There's no question about that. I don't want to guess what that means. I don't want to speculate on anything.
But Greasy's warming up. Wheatley now. Wheatley moves the pile up to the 18 and close to a first, tackled by Trevor Price.
You look back at the last few series, he was not sharp, Chris Miller. A couple of the balls were sailing on him. His accuracy was off, but he also took some pretty good shots after he had released the football. But meanwhile, the Raiders have moved the ball now out of the shadow of their own end zone by running 2 plays and moving the ball effectively all of a sudden on the ground.
Greasy has what would be described as a tear in the tissue of his shoulder joint. Says he has very little pain, but they had hoped to keep him on the bench tonight through the bye week next week. Kaufman goes nowhere. That is Visser who is there for the tackle. 8:40 to go. Here's a reminder tonight on Nightline. What happens when a fatal traffic accident of a young African-American woman exposes a city's racial fault line, a multi-million-dollar settlement. The whole story is tonight on Nightline following your late local news. Tim Brown out of the game for the moment, and he looks like he took a shot. James Jett and Rodney Williams are the wideouts. That's Williams in motion at 2nd and 11, and Gannon throws. It's caught by Ritchie, and he gets taken down at the 24-yard line by Ray Crockett.
Nice tackle by Crockett. Go right at the knees of the fullback coming at you. Don't take him on high, because he'll run you right over, and John Ritchie certainly can do that to you. Another little play-action pass. This is the West Coast offense at its finest. Quick, get rid of it, and get it into the hands of your ball carriers.
3rd down and 5 from the 24. Randy Jordan in the backfield. And the pass is dropped by Brown. Brown came back into the game, and it's interesting because you saw him on the sideline squinting as if he was having trouble either with his eyesight or he'd had his bell rung, and he can't handle this one as he gets hit and covered by Cordrez.
How about Glenn Cordrez? He's all over the place tonight and making big hits. Now you have to wonder about your punter. He's got the ball, and you can see Cordrez knocking the ball loose.
Line of scrimmage 23, Aragoose to punt. Chris Watson back to receive. Floating kick, not a lot of distance. Fielded by Watson at the 42, and the rookie brings it back to the 48, loses the football. Flag comes in at the end of the play.
I think what the flag might be here, Al, is this might have been an illegal fair catch signal by Watson. It looked like he was going up with it and then pulled his hand down quickly and ran with the football.
It was very half-hearted fair catch signal.
Invalid fair catch signal.
Yep.
Number 21 of the receiving team. That's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
I was watching the game last night on ESPN, and the guys there, Mike, Paul, and Joe, had the same situation where a guy raised his hand and they gave him the fair catch, and it was like just like this here.
Yep. Only cost them 5. At least they still have the ball at the 39. Chris Miller has his helmet on, but he's on the sideline, and they're going to go to Brian Greasy right now, who started the year as the #1 quarterback on opening night against Miami, but he's had that shoulder problem, may require surgery at the end of the season. Here he comes at the 39-yard line to begin this drive, and he starts on the ground by giving it to Gary, who can barely get out of the backfield. Lesley, what do you know?
Al, Chris Miller is not injured. It was the coach's decision. It was more a product of not being able to move the ball and being 2 for 8 in the second half, Al.
I was going to say the same thing. It looked like he had been out of it a little bit. He wasn't real sharp. He fumbled the snap. And Mike Shanahan, sensing that his quarterback did not seem like he was into the game for whatever reason, went to his young future right here, Brian Greasy.
Greasy leads the league in fumbles. 2nd and 9, and that's a pass that gets deflected and is incomplete. Greasy has fumbled 12 times this season, despite missing a considerable amount of action.
And I asked Mike Shanahan about the fumbling. He said, you know what? A lot of those things come from backside hits. And my own take on that is that this is a young quarterback. He's going to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and he's going to get himself into some situations that are going to force fumbles. So he has to be quicker in his decision-making, get rid of the ball.
3rd down and 9 from the 40-yard line. Greasy throws, caught, big first down into Raider territory to Rod Smith. And the crowd of this big old erector set comes alive again. First down, Denver at the Oakland 47.
There's so many things that Brian Greasy has done well, Al, that you could see where he is going to be someday and should be a big-time quarterback. And look at the accuracy on that ball, low into traffic, knowing where to go with the football and delivering it quickly.
From the 47-yard line, Greasy going deep for McCaffrey. McCaffrey draws the flag. The feet got tangled up with McCaffrey and Woodson. McCaffrey and Woodson one-on-one. The call is against the defense against Oakland. You know,
I don't know about this. This almost
defensive pass interference. Number 24. First down.
You know, I'm looking with a naked eye as I'm watching this boomer. I think it's an Academy Award performance by McCaffrey. Let's take a look at this. This may be an Oscar right here.
You wonder if he's calling the push there, maybe or the pull of the jersey, but
hello. That is best. That's not even best supporting actor. That's the whole deal. This is Gary stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Now everybody talks in the league, you know, why do you change quarterbacks and all these other things? You can see why. All of a sudden the Denver Bronco offense is lifted to another level. But take a look at McCaffrey here.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's
oh my.
That's as good an acting job as I've ever seen to draw a penalty. 2nd down and 12, and what a big one it is. It puts Denver at the moment in very makeable field goal range. 2nd down and 12 at the 18-yard line. And Greasy goes down to the 21, popped by Johnstone. As the flag comes out, it's possible with the arm contact that he called it on that.
Well, and you wonder why Brian Greasy fumbles, but as much as he does is because of plays like that right there, Al. Just get rid of the ball.
Here's the flag. Let's watch again.
Is it right there because of the pull right there, right? There's a push. They're both pushing.
Where's the flag now?
I say it was an acting job.
A great one. 3rd and 14. And Greasy on a quarterback draw slips, falls, can take it to the 20. So now you've got Elam coming in for what will be a 37-yard field goal attempt with 4.5 to go.
Well, he inserted Brian Greasy. He moved him down the field. They got a little luck with the interference penalty, but this is why you change quarterbacks, is to get guys to respond, to make plays.
Elam has made them from 30 and from 24. They'll spot this one at the 28. 38-yard attempt. Tom Ruin to put it down. Snap good, hold good, and the kick is good.
He's money.
4:04 left in regulation. And our best Monday night game of the season. 18-18. Jason Elam to kick off after tying the game. At one point tonight, Denver led 15-0. The Raiders then scored 18 straight points. Kaufman and Branch are back. Now the game is tied. Kaufman backs up Fields at the 5 and brings it back to the 24-yard line. 3:56 remaining in the 4th. A reminder again, Enhanced TV online right now. Stats, interactive games, trivia, ESPN.com and NFL.com. The places to log on.
Well, Al, this is why you have Rich Gannon as your quarterback. 4 minutes to go on the road. Tie game. Playoffs on the line. A game that you need to win. This is where you earn your keep when you're a quarterback in the NFL. Somehow you have to get your team down in the scoring position, give them a chance to win the football game and go home a happy team.
First down to the 24-yard line. That's Brown in motion to the inside. throws. It is caught out in the flat. Taken down is Derek Walker by Crockett after a gain of 6. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Miller Lite. Taste a true Pilsner. Norelco, for an unexpectedly close shave, put it to the test. E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online. And who has the look for the holidays? JCPenney. Give the look. 3:25 and ticking down. 2nd down and 4. Pat Poland taking a close-up look. His defense digging in. Gannon backing up. Faking the screen left. Looking back there again. Escaping. And taken down to the 29. Good tackle by Cudrez.
He's having one of his best games ever.
He is. Began with that run back of the fumble.
I believe that's his 3rd sack of the evening.
Number 3. It's the kind of night that gets you to the Pro Bowl. You do that on Monday night.
They're actually setting up a screen on the last play, and the defense of the Denver Broncos read it perfectly.
3rd down and 5.
Al, it doesn't get any more tension-filled right now. The stress that you feel as a quarterback is awesome. There's nothing else that even comes close.
Huge play on 3rd and 5, and it's tipped and it's incomplete. It is tipped by Keith Traylor, another guy having a big night. 4th and 5. So 3 and out, and Denver gets it back.
Let's take a look at this. You can see that he's throwing off his back foot and throwing a sideline.
Winds up off the back of Barry Sims, who was blocking Traylor.
Traylor was trying to get the official to throw the flag.
Here is Araguz now to punt. Watson to receive. Excuse me. From the 15-yard line, Travis McGriff now goes back to drop the ball and pick it back up and take it to the 33-yard line. So they had Watson running back the kicks until now when they go to McGriff, and wouldn't that have been something?
Well, Watson fumbled, had the inadvertent fair catch signal, and I'm sure Dennison said enough's enough already. Take a look at McGriff here.
Ooh,
man.
And now Denver has the ball at the 34. They have all of their timeouts and the 2-minute warning.
Do we get a shades of John Elway, Al, or
well,
no?
John, I wonder if John is still in the building.
I think he beat the traffic. He went home.
Yep.
He's got the fire going right now.
At the 34-yard line, 1st and 10. We understand John is still here. Greasy hanging in, throws, and it's dropped by Gary. And there is Mr. Elway. Yep.
Well,
Janet will be driving home tonight.
At least you got him with the right product.
We hope. Yes. 2nd and 10 at the 34.
Well, come on, it's after midnight on the East Coast. We're all right.
I hear you. 2:17 remaining. The 36-year-old John Gruden, the youngest coach in the league, aging by the minute.
One of the great things about Mike Shanahan and his offense is the way that he uses formations to create matchups here. And take a look at this.
2nd and 10. That's caught by Smith. He can only get to the 40. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. The tackle's made by Anthony Newman, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. It's been a beauty in Denver tonight. Still to be determined. 2-minute warning, 18-18. Sunday Night Football on ESPN this week. The Atlanta Falcons take on the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. And we go to San Francisco next Monday night. Brett Favre taking the Packers into San Francisco to take on the 49ers. See if we can find out about Steve Young. I'm sure we'll see Steve and talk with him next week and find out about his future.
You'll probably have him at halftime, won't you?
Well, if Steve is
listening.
Put
it in right now. Say you want him at halftime, Al. So we don't have to go through the whole rigmarole all week long.
Book it.
All right.
Save us a call. You just say it's...
Steve, do the halftime interview, please.
$1.50. 3rd.
This season, situations like this where they have a chance to put the game away, and they can't do it.
And timeout is now called by Oakland. They had one. They have one remaining. And they're going to get the ball back in what they hope will be pretty good field position.
You know, I wonder if Tom Nalen just absolutely rifled this ball back there.
Snap not that bad, and then Greasy can't even get rid of it here to save what would have been 20 yards. Greasy's 13th fumble of the season.
Well, in slow motion, it looks like it's okay, right?
Yeah. Catchable.
Once again, the picture is brought to you by Kenny Wolf and Craig Janoff. The best pictures in sports, Al.
For years.
Absolutely.
You guys are well rested and well fed. That's why.
And they're nice and warm.
Tom Roon to punt. Darian Gordon back to receive it at the 40. Gordon from the 41.
Now's the time for your return. Here you go.
And down the sidelines he goes, busting tackles, and he is out of bounds. They're going to spot it up at the 36-yard line.
Well, it couldn't have come at a better time for Darian Gordon right now as the game is on the line.
They've been bottling them up until now. That's a 25-yard return of a 40-yard punt. 15 net, ball at the 35, first down Oakland with one timeout at their disposal and 1:42 on the clock.
I still think that you have to find Ricky Dudley. If I step into the huddle, I'm saying, I got this big tight end. He's been open tonight. I've been able to get the ball to him. He's made some plays for me. He's a guy that you should be looking for.
That's Dudley in motion. He's caught 4 balls tonight. They set him up on the right side. Gannon under pressure. He gets sacked. There's a flag down in the secondary all the way down to the 13-yard line, deep downfield. Romanowski indicating to his bench it's going to go against Oakland. Al Wilson and Trevor Price converged on the sack.
I think Ray Crockett also heard me say that let's throw it to Ricky Dudley because I think he held him.
39 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That is the call. So Romanowski with wishful thinking as he signaled the bench.
Hey, runner.
Automatic first down at the 30.
Let's take a look at this right here. Watch Ricky Dudley, number 83, get up the field. I don't know about this here.
Who's holding who?
I don't know. That's a weak call.
Man. First and 10 at the 30. That's Mickens in motion. On the ground. Wheatley to the 26-yard line. So if they gain not another yard, it's a 43 or 44-yard field goal attempt as Houston limbers up.
And you know what I like here is I like Mike Shanahan using his timeouts.
Right. Otherwise, Oakland will just run the clock down and try a game-ending field goal.
We talk each week about how coaches manage games, and you're looking at a guy, Mike Shanahan, who's one of the brighter coaches in all of football and knows how to manage a football game. And right here, he's doing that by using his timeout, figuring that if the Raiders are going to try a field goal, they're going to try to keep them out further, and then if they miss it, or if they make it even, give their team, an offensive team, an opportunity to go down and score, tie it, or even win it.
Houston had 72%, which used to be good, but that's the lowest among 23 active players who would qualify in that category. Tonight he's made one from 33 and missed one from 37.
And that miss wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Both he and Araguz have had trouble with the cold tonight, and I was talking to Tom Ruin, the punter for the Broncos, and Jason Elam, asking them about the cold weather and those new balls that they have to kick every week. And this is the first time that they've had this experience to be able to do that, and I think the Raider kickers certainly have had the more difficult time of it tonight.
2nd and 6, and Romanowski looking over at the demonstrative Robinson for the defensive call here. 2nd down 6 at the 26, and a tie game with a minute and a half to play. Wheatley is the tailback. Gannon banged as he throws, and that's incomplete and close to being intercepted. Wilson decks Gannon. 3rd down.
The interesting thing about this, Al, is that they have run this play a few times already tonight. The receiver's not even looking for the ball as he delivers it, and the receiver gets hit.
Had to use 1 timeout, and so when Denver gets the ball back, the Denver Broncos will still have 2 timeouts at their disposal.
The guy that I keep my eye on here is right in the middle. Neil Smith and Trevor Price, those 2 big guys pushing right over the center. Getting their big paws up in the air to knock the football down.
44-yard attempt, and Araguz is trying to call timeout, and does. And that's their last.
Well, they're going to give him the timeout back because the play clock was way.
There'll be no charge timeout. We had trouble getting the kicking ball in. Still 4th down.
The kicking ball.
Well, that's the new ball we've been talking about.
The Circle K ball.
That's a good job by Larry Nemers, and he recognized the problem and not taking the timeout.
44-yard attempt to try to give Oakland the lead. Araguz to hold it.
Watch Neil Smith in the middle.
Husted to kick it. And the kick is just good. Just good.
Did you see the snowballs coming out of trying to knock the ball off?
When Ray Wersching was kicking a field goal for the 49ers in a game here in the mid-'80s, somebody threw a snowball that disrupted it.
But they were trying to throw snowballs out of the stands to hit the ball, it looked like.
Right.
Anything.
And through it all, the kick is just good. Check it out.
The reason I was talking about Neil Smith was because the kicker will try to drive the football and sometimes will not get the ball high enough.
Ooh, look at this.
Doesn't matter as long as it's through, right?
Hooking, 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 and staying just inside.
Take a look at the snowball. Let's see if we can see some of them coming out of the crowd. There they come. Well, that was a bad throw. That was a bad throw. It must have been a scud, Al.
A what?
It must have been a scud.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Arthur Kent, that's all.
Okay.
Here's the kick from Husted with 117. Fielded at the 13-yard line by Chris Watson. And he brings it back to the 29-yard line. And so Denver from there will try to get into field goal range with 73 seconds left in the 4th quarter and 2 timeouts.
Now, if you're a Raider defense, you don't want to be too passive here. And if you're Brian Griese, you have plenty of time. You have both of your timeouts. You can still use the middle of the field. Don't be afraid to drop it off, especially if the Raiders in a prevent sort of a defense. You can also drop it off to your back, sneaking out of the backfield and let him run for a few yards. I just can't imagine that Willie Shaw is going to be passive in his defense and sit back and allow Brian Griese to complete short passes.
Out of the gun, it is caught by McCaffrey as they gamble defensively, and McCaffrey is out of bounds at the 47. Eric Allen went for the ball. The veteran went for the ball, missed, and McCaffrey was able to make the catch and turn it into a big game.
Well, certainly Eric Allen wasn't passive, Al, but when you make a play like this, you better be right, especially at this point in the game. He was lucky that McCaffrey didn't make it down the sideline for a touchdown. Nice throw by Brian Griese away, and look at the hands of Ed McCaffrey.
1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. 66 seconds to play. Griese going deep, and it's incomplete. Intended for McCaffrey as that matchup with McCaffrey and Allen again down the left sideline occurs.
Well, when you see guys like this playing man-to-man coverage on the outside, that means that the defense is not playing passively, that they're playing the defense that they've been playing all night long. And for that, I applaud Willie Shaw for doing that. Because how many times do we see on Monday night a team just sitting back and allowing another team to march down the field?
2nd down and 10 from the 48-yard line. Four-man rush, caught, 39-yard line, hauled in by Miller, and Denver will take its second timeout. So one remaining. The ball at the 39. Remember, Elam last year kicked a 63-yarder. Not that you want to try to end the game from this vantage point. The next play is obviously going to be very critical at the 39. But at the moment, if they don't gain a yard on the third down play, you'd be looking at a 56-yard attempt should you choose to go for the field goal here.
And watching Jason Elam prior to the game in his warm-ups going this way, he was making 50-yarders nice and easily.
Last year, you'll recall, at the end of the half against Jacksonville, Tom Dempsey held the record of a 63-yard field goal in his days with the New Orleans Saints. And here is Jason Elam against the Jacksonville Jaguars, banging it through.
Looks like he had a good 5 yards more on that as well.
It did. But this is a huge play. Third down, short 2 from the 39, and there's action along the offensive line. Lepsis and Teague, both tackles were moving.
Now, I don't know if Nayland's late with the ball or Brian Greasy's not yelling loud enough and these guys can't hear.
Illegal snap on the center. Double pump the ball. That's a false start. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Back to the 44.
Watch the ball right here and watch Tom Nellen. He'll move the ball right there.
Yeah, sure.
It looked like he wanted to snap it. Brian Greasy wanted it on that count. It's twice now in the shotgun formation that they've had problems.
Now it goes to 3rd and 7. The ball is at the 44-yard line. Greasy throws. It is caught by Smith. He reaches. He doesn't have the first down, and he doesn't even get out of bounds. So with 49 seconds left, it's 4th and 1. Darian Gordon is there. The ball at the 38. Their choice is to go for it on 4th and 1, or have Elam kicked a 55-yard or 56-yard field goal, and they will take their final timeout.
Interesting call by the official on the sideline to say that he stayed in bounds. If he doesn't get out of bounds, credit the Oakland defender for keeping him in bounds.
Darian Gordon.
Yes.
Not only making the tackle, saving a first down, and keeping the clock going and compelling them to use their final timeout.
Definitely in bounds. Good call by the official.
Absolutely. So now, if you go for it on 4th down, and they are going to go for it because Greasy comes back out.
You think they snap it out?
I do. I don't think Shanahan wants to try a 56-yard field goal here.
Look at this. They got him in the shotgun situation here. Are they?
Right.
Be interested.
So the game is on the line right here. 4th down and 1. Greasy needs the completion. He gets it, and inbounds though. It's Rod Smith. It's the same kind of play, but now Greasy can at least spike it to stop the clock. So they'll line up. They're at the 36-yard line. He spikes it. That stops it with 23 seconds. Now you're looking at a 53-yard field goal.
And let me tell you why Mike Shanahan is so impressed with Brian Greasy. In the face of a blitz, Brian Greasy delivers a strike. You can see when we get to the replay how many guys are coming.
2 plays in a row. Smith is right there on the chalk and can't get out. This time it's Richard Harvey who blitzed, and Gordon again with Smith. At the 35 without a timeout. Greasy going deep and incomplete. Rod Smith well covered. Darian Gordon with the coverage again.
Again, the Raiders are staying with their one-on-one coverage outside. They're trying to bring 5 guys. Now Brian Greasy's he has to work the sidelines or he has to go for the end zone.
So it's 3rd down and 10 now at the 35-yard line.
And now when we practice, we always felt like it took 16 seconds for them to reset the ball.
Well, the middle of the field is very dangerous at this point. In this circumstance, on 3rd down, So Greasy's got to look outside. He's going to look deep. He's going to go for the end zone, and that's incomplete. Intended for Travis McGriff. So now they're going to send in Elam for a 53 or 54-yard attempt.
What I was going to tell you is that if he threw the ball inside on the field of play and they were unable to stop the clock, it takes 16 seconds for the officials to set the ball so you can go ahead and spike it.
Right.
So you know going into it, if you're going to snap the ball with 18 seconds, that there's no way that you're going to be able to get the ball off.
So a cold night, the new harder ball, and Elam to kick 53 yards to try to tie the game. Elam sends it skyward. The kick is good.
Oh, man. What a kick. Now we have flags on the play.
There is flags now. Did it come before the kick or after the kick? And it is a personal foul against Oakland. So the kick will be good.
And I wonder if number 54 Greg
personal
Peaker,
foul on the defensive team for leaping number 24.
Number 24.
Penalty is declined. The field goal is good.
Charles Woodson faulting or attempting to use somebody's back to block it.
But he didn't now.
He didn't. Yeah,
no, he didn't.
I'm looking at it. It's irrelevant as it turns out because the kick was good. And how about Jason Elam? 53 yards under the most intense kind of pressure. And Elam bangs it through by a good 5 yards to tie the game at 21. Well, there are all kinds of ways to get to 21, but this is the weirdest.
The one thing I don't understand is the call on Charles Woodson, the penalty here.
Yeah, they called him for leaping. Leaping should be if you're going to use somebody to catapult you, then all he did was like a basketball player trying to block a shot. But it's irrelevant as it turns out. Apparently one of the officials thought he must have used a teammate. Take a look. Woodson is 24.
Well, he's 24 right here on the left side of your screen. He's not allowed to run toward the line and leap. You have to leap in place, Al.
Right.
Look how high he gets. Al, that's like Al, that's like me today at the Denver Athletic Club taking Kenny Wolf, our producer, to the hole.
You have tape of it?
I do have tape. You know Kenny played at Harvard, right?
I'm aware of that.
With the James Brown, by the way.
You can't run and leap is what it amounts to. You have to be stationary. The penalty means the kickoff comes from the 45-yard line now.
That's their third and final timeout.
And Oakland takes a timeout.
Well, Oakland wants to take a timeout right now because they look like they're confused. They don't know whether or not to have the hands team in there because the Broncos are showing an onside kick formation. And they want to take their big linemen off the field and they want to put their wide receivers and defensive backs.
That's Frank Gans along the sideline.
And you can see the Raiders look a little confused right now, but take a look at, he takes 2 steps and look how high Charles Woodson gets. I don't necessarily know that was a running leap though.
Well, it's academic as it turns out. Elam's going to kick off here. The next critical decision in this game is going to be heads or tails. And that is fielded at the 24-yard line by Charles Mincy with 7 seconds still showing on the clock.
If they get that ball, that's not academic.
Right, but as it turned out, it was academic.
Right now it does, yes.
So Gannon comes in, probably for a kneel down, and then we'll have a coin flip. As I said, in the old days, before 2-point conversions, it was easy to get to 21. We got to 21 tonight by 7-0, 10-0, 12-0, 15-0, 15-7, 15-15, 18-18.
Only you can figure that out that quickly. Way to go, babe.
It's like getting to 21 by drawing 7 cards. Now that I know about. And that's the end of regulation.
Well, we knew it was going to be a game just because of talking to the players and to the coaches before the game, Al. You could sense that this was going to be an intense battle. You really could.
Raiders Broncos through the years, one of the best rivalries in the NFL. Going back to 1960 to the American Football League, when the Raiders, Boomer, I don't know if you recall this, their original name, you know what they're going to call them? The Oakland Seniors.
Seniors?
Yes,
huh?
sir. It lasted
In
about
the
4
overtime
minutes.
National Football League, the first team that scores wins. Timing is the same as the fourth quarter. Each team gets 2 timeouts. Oakland, visiting team, who's going to call the coin? Heads. He's going to call heads.
All right, we got that right.
It's tails. Denver has won the toss. They would like to receive. Good luck, man.
So the Broncos, with Greasy at the helm, has led them to 2 field goal drives. Will get it first in overtime. Al Michaels, Boomer Esiason, Lesley Visser, overtime. Our first Monday night overtime game of the season. Game time at 21. Houston to kick off for the Raiders, and it's Watson. Chris Watson, the rookie, from the 7-yard line. Breaks it out past the 30, and the Broncos will start from the 33-yard line with Brian Greasy.
Al, you can't appreciate how great a kick that was by Jason Elam. It's freezing cold. He's actually kicking it into a little bit of a breeze. And he's kicking a brand new ball right out of a box that's probably like a baseball hard ball, you know?
And the game's on the line.
Well,
that's why Elam winds up in the Pro Bowl from time to time.
What a terrific kick.
At the 33-yard line, first down. McCaffrey in motion to the inside, to the ground with Gary. Olandis Gary tackled after a gain of 2 at the 35. Again in overtime, you can play a maximum of 15 minutes. It ends with any score. Each team has 2 timeouts.
Again, to go back to the 4th down play by Brian Greasy in the face of a blitz, delivering a strike to Rod Smith for a first down. And you could just see this kid does so many of the little things that look good. And once his whole game comes around, Al, and he understands everything, I really think he'll be something.
2nd and 8, and that's Chamberlain, the intended receiver, and he was covered by Sam Sword. 3rd down and 8. Sword, the rookie out of Michigan, and a guy who knows Greasy very well because that's where Brian played.
There's a whole bunch of guys out here from Michigan.
Yeah, well, 6 Raiders are from Michigan,
right.
So Greasy must feel like he's in a scrimmage week.
He's in the blue and yellow game, or the blue and white game,
blue and maize.
Spring game, whatever it is.
3rd down. One of the guys he's facing in the secondary, of course, is Charles Woodson, the Heisman winner. 3rd down and 8. Going for McCaffrey, and McCaffrey didn't look around until the pass was on its downward arc, and he was covered by Woodson. So good coverage.
You know, he could have fallen again, though, Al.
He's already pulled that once before.
And Charles Woodson has really done pretty well. If it were not for that one pass interference call. And the interesting thing about Charles Woodson is his talent is no interceptions this year.
Right. 4th and 8. Tom Bruin to punt. Gordon's going to let it bounce. It bounces at the 25-yard line. Skipping sideways. The Broncos get every last inch out of it, and it is down at the 19-yard line.
Well, they've had some success, the Raiders have, with little play-action passes, throwing it to John Ritchie, the fullback. In the flats, I still like Ricky Dudley over the middle. You got to be able to give Rich Gannon a little bit of time. The last few times out, the Raider offensive line has had a few miscues.
Again, you almost have to go back to what we said at the scene set. This is a very vital game for the Raiders. in a conference where 5 teams are already 8-2. Only 6 go to the playoffs. They're trying to go 6-4. And in overtime, they begin from the 19-yard line, and they give the ball to Wheatley, and he is met by Coghill. The safety comes up for support, and all of the Broncos then push him back.
The interesting thing about Coghill, Al, this is his first career NFL start, and he's starting in place of Eric Brown, who they just put on IR, who was their leading tackler.
They'll be playing the rest of the way.
One of those players that Mike Shanahan's going to get a good look at.
2nd down and 9 from the 20-yard line. Four-man rush. Gannon escapes. Gannon goes down at the 25-yard line. That was Neil Smith tackling him and also trying to cause a fumble. These two teams in their history, going back to 1960 in overtime, 7 times. It's the most overtime games in a team versus team situation. 7 times they've gone to overtime. Broncos won the first, and then the Raiders, LA and Oakland, both winning 5 in a row since overtime started in the regular season in 1974. 3rd down and 4. Gannon under pressure, hit from behind, loses the football to the 25-yard line. Denver has it. Trevor Price. The price was wrong for the Raiders.
Take a look at this right here. Rich Gannon just holding on to the ball too long. You have to get rid of it.
Trevor Price having a Pro Bowl type of season.
There is Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator. Look how psyched he is. This is a team that's 3-7.
3rd turnover by the Raiders tonight. Broncos already well within Elam's range. Olandis Gary inside the 10, touchdown and a Denver victory. What a game.
Oh, Mike Shanahan makes a decision to go to Brian Greasy in the 4th quarter. Howard Griffith makes a great lead block to spring Olandis Gary. I think that the Oakland Raiders are stunned. When you get into a situation like that where the Raider defense knew that they had to make a play and they get so close to the line of scrimmage, the safeties have no chance to make a tackle. Look at this move on Mincy. Mincy overruns the play. Olandis Gary had a great game tonight. Finishes it off. The huge touchdown run. And if there's any solace in the fact that the Broncos have right now in their season is that they swept the Oakland Raiders and probably have knocked them out of the playoffs, Al.
Very likely, even though they could still run the table and wind up with a mark of 11-5. You'd have to win all 6. The division is tough. The conference is very tough. And Olandis Gary with a touchdown. Gary tonight winds up with 95 yards on 22 carries, including the game winner there in OT. Bronx by 6. Back with a play of the game after this. In overtime, the Broncos win it by a score of 27-21. So guess what? The CNET.com play at CNET. The Raiders wish they did. This was a CNET. Instead, this is the CNET.com play of the game. Gary for the touchdown after they had gotten the turnover. Trevor Price created this. 3 Oakland turnovers, do them in. The Raiders get swept by the Broncos. Shanahan's won 9 of 10 from his former team. Let's go to Lesley Visser.
Al, it's quite an initiation to the Bronco-Raiders war. Alandis, tell us about the scoring play.
It was just outside zone play. You know, we were just trying to get, just hold the ball and just run the clock until, you know, we could try a field goal. But the line blocked well and my wide receivers blocked well, and I just took it in.
Is it something we all know about Terrell Davis? Is it something about you guys from Georgia?
Hopefully, you know, we're just trying to keep plugging those running backs out of the University of Georgia, and we're just trying to do well in the National Football League.
You know, you haven't been here that long, but you know that Mike Shanahan was fired by the Raiders 10 years ago. Was there a little extra meaning in this game?
Well, maybe for coach, but, you know, we in our position right now, you know, we just got to go out and try to win every football game.
What does this do for your season?
Right now, you know, that's just the extra win, and we just got to try to just put a game plan together for our next opponents.
Well, you certainly made a memory tonight. Thanks a lot, Alandis. Back to you guys.
Oh, he sure did, Al.
What a game, huh?
What a game, and what a game he played.
Yep.
And really, when you think about it, both teams played hard, but
that was a beauty, though.
It really was. I'm just glad we finally got a good one.
Very compelling game. Denver wins it 27-21 in OT. We head west next week, San Francisco, where it will be the 49ers hosting the Green Bay Packers. Until then, Al Michaels for Boomer Esiason, Lesley Visser saying good night from Denver. ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. And this has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.